Behaja derino hasan belen na piraba. I my beside you. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Give us ipanabule. Anina ikotori. Nasawa. Anina ikotori. Beled wahid. Anina ikotori. Anena. Anina ikotori.
Nina kulu sawa jama. So my pearl panangala. I love my people, and I'm the voice.
Ajoli ya buga ya baka, Kodiga balanda mare, Kakuwa kiniko Lambo lugoya, Ajoli Koposa mundo, Yambara morobe made, Mundare, Yambara, Otumo pare makotudo, Lubara buga ya lobe, Lulu Koposa,
Mundo,
Nare,
Anakulu nasi sawa. Mavi acha bigesi manena. Siasa mabigesi manena. Anena wahe.
Alright, good morning to you guys, those who are living in other countries like in Middle East, Africa, and Australia. I think it's afternoon. Anyway, I wanted to say greetings to my fellow beloved great Equatorians from the Equatorial Salvation Council in Diaspora. To all my fellow Equatorian revolutionary brothers and sisters, I just wanted to say salute to all of you in the name of justice, accountability, equal rights. I salute you in the name of Equatorian nationalism, and I salute you in the name of Equatorian unity, the unity of our people struggle, and I salute you in the name of hope, future for our people, and the love for one another, and the bond we share with one another through our ancestral blood for a new Equatoria. My fellow brothers and sisters, I just want to say thank you and welcome you again for taking this time once again to join us in this declamation. I appreciate you for joining us. As you know, we have our usual guests and contributors in the point that we're trying to say is CJ and Hadassah, and also greetings to Sister Mary, and all the others who are here. To begin with, we're going to talk about this specific thing that always we need to go back to the root cause if we wanted to go that far. And the root cause of it is like South Sudan independence. What went wrong after its independence, and why did it turn into a failed state? I mean, why did it turn into a failed state? That means South Sudan itself. There is a lot of course, sad history within this region or this country called South Sudan, and also there's a lot of mistakes and failures that need to be kind of like analyzed in all sides and to just understand it and why we're here today, why we are in this condition, and what is coming up next. So it's going to be in episodes. I'm not going to make it longer today with CJ and Hadassah. We're going to have small specific things. We're going to tackle it. But then later, in the coming future, we will start, bringing the next episode, because even there's an article we need to kind of debate it, because that article, it explains that the South Sudan failure, how it started. But for us, for public eyes and for those who are, from their own side, because everybody have their own different interpretation to this. But the reality is there. Yes, the conflict it shows the failure of a nation, a failure of a people, and a failure of an organization that is running the country. And of course, this is the biggest difficult problems, people asking, how can we get to that? And so the root cause of it, we're going to start, and I'll give CJ or Hadassah, whoever wanted to come in, and can start just put a little bit input on that idea of why, South Sudan independence, what went wrong with the independence, that we have to come to be a failed state. You're welcome, CJ, Hadassah, go ahead. If you hear me, guys,
Yeah, I hear you. I will let CJ go ahead.
Okay, CJ, if you can, just go ahead and press unmute in yourself, and then we can stop there. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, indeed. What
You
went
can
wrong?
start in Arabic or English if you want to. Yeah, anything. بالعربي أو إنجليزي. I think الناس اللي في أفريقيا sometimes يتمنوا يكون بعربي. But yeah, go ahead. Speak in English if you want to.
No,
Yeah.
I do have access to that. Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Thank you.
I'll be told it if you want it to go. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
go
do it in
ahead. Sorry,
Arabic.
I interrupted you. Just go ahead. Go ahead and speak. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah. Well, excuse me. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we hear you clearly. Yeah, we hear you clearly. Go ahead. اتفضل.
Thank you.
شكرا.
Yeah, أرجو أن أشكرك وأشكر الجمهور الفاضل. Okay. الله يخليك. Yeah, indeed. The question is quite clear. شنو المشي الخطأ؟ شو الخطأ؟ جنوب السودان، هذا الدولة الحديثة اللي جات على ساحة العالم في 2011 والناس يحتفلوا به بفرح وكذا. للأسف الشديد تحولت إلى شنو؟ إلى بوتقة حاوية فيها مجموعة من ماسكة مثلا عناصر مثلا كانوا في يوم من الأيام هم ذاتوا نفس الناس اللي هو بتاعت الحرب الأهلية اللي كانوا هناك، تحولوها لجحيم. صاروا يشردوا شعبهم ويقتلوا شعبهم ويعملوا ما فيهم. فأنا في المقدمة أوجه أشكر الحضور وأشكر كل إنسان بيستمع لهذا الشريط، ونقول لكم كل سنة وانتم طيبين. ونتمنى لكم كل خير. ففي الحقيقة الشيء اللي بيأرق الناس، حاجة اللي بيخلي الناس كتير ما بينزعجوا عنه، دولة زي جنوب السودان قامت بحس كانت ببوادر بمساعدات وخدمات كتير. العالم اداه كل الهمة على أساس أنها تكون دولة. بعد ما بكى أهلها شديد، بكوا أنه كان في اضطهاد عرقي، في معاملة بطالة في ذلك البلد، في سوء اللي هو الإخوان المسلمين اللي ظهروا في السودان كانوا أونس بشير، مجموعة الطاغية بشير. فالناس كانوا فرحوا، لكن لو أنت جيت الواقع اللي حصل كان العكس. احنا رجعنا للأصل، بنلقى إنه جذور المشكلة القضية بترجع أصلا لاتفاقية بتاعت 2005. هذه الاتفاقية اللي وضعوها، نعم في جوانب فيها أعلم فيها أنه شنو مع تدخل الأمريكان واللي هو الحلفاء بتاعنا، وحسموا الموضوع وحسموا الحرب. تم وقف إطلاق النار، الناس كانوا مبسوطين. بعدها تخللتها أنه الناس زي اللي دخلوا في الحكم شاركوا الحكم بعد ما أرغموهم على أساس أنكم أنتوا لازم تخضعوا لهذا الوضع. فأرغموهم على أساس أنه يوقعوا اتفاقية أنه يحسم الموضوع. وكان المسألة في غايتها الشعب كانوا هم تعبانين، هم أكثر الناس عانوا المرارة بتاعت الحياة دي. فاتفاقية بتاعت 2005 باختصار هي كانت لب القضية، مع أنها مشت بحس كتير كويس، لكن ما في باطنها كانت في خفايا. الناحية الأول، الفقرة الأولى أنه التمثيل. نعم
Presentation. Yes.
قرن كقائد هو كان ممثل، هو طبعا بعد مناقشات حادة بين اللي هو قيادات المقاومة اللي كان بتاع جنوب، قيادات تحرير المقاومة، التحرير في جنوب السودان، النازل
أول
كل
من
اللي
شاف
كانوا
الأخرى then. Yeah.
حاربوا جنبا إلى جنب ودخلوا في مواقف وحسموا الموضوع. فطبعا الناس ما كانوا راضين من أنه قرن يقودهم، لأن الراجل ظهر وحشيته في خلال المعارك اللي كان ما بيعملها. الجانب البطال كان ظهر عنده، كان عنده جانب كويس وعنده جانب كعب. الجانب الكعب كان هو اللي أكعب شيء. الناس اللي كانوا أكثر قريبين منهم إيكاتوريانز والناس من بحر الغزال ومجموعات دي العرب، والراجل ده قال انه الراجل ما المفروض يمثلهم، المفروض يكون في تمثيل ثاني. لكن للاسف في النهايه مع تدخل اللي هو ممثلي الامم المتحده والبعثه الامريكيه، ممثل البعثه الامريكيه في الوقت ده. الناس زي قاموا ارقموهم على اساس انه عشان تخشوا في حوار مع الخرطوم يجب ان تكونوا شنو؟ تكونوا جنبا الى جنب مع بعض، تتفقوا على اساس انكم تكون عندكم واحد زول يمثلكم يتكلم عنه. ففي النهايه اطلقوا الراجل ده. لما اطلقوا الراجل ده قرن طبعا بعد ما دخلوا، الشيء اللي ظهر في المقام الاول انه الراجل طبعا قام يحتوى الناس بتاعه، يعني حتى مستوى التمثيل اللي كان موجود هناك بتلقى انه كانوا صارت حكر على الدينكا والنوير. النوير والدينكا احتكروا الواقع ده. ده كان له اثر كبير جدا جدا في انه نوعيه الدوله اللي جاي يكون. فالناس ما معروف فطنوا له ولا ما فطنوا الحل، يهتموا به ولا ما اهتموا به. طبعا كل الناس كانوا رغبتهم انه يكون في حكومه، المهم انه يكون في سلام، كانوا متمردين او شعب. فلما تم السلام بموجب الاتفاقيه، البشير وقرن قاموا عملوا شكلوا حكومه، وبموجبها قرن كان بقى نائب الرئيس وبشير رئيس. ووفق مقررات الاتفاقيه اللي هو نصوص الاتفاقيه انه حيتم البتاع ده ل6 سنوات، والناس اللي استمروا. يعني شيء مؤسف. يعني من الناحيه بتاعت قرن ما فوق شك انه عنده الوعي والكفاءه انه ممكن يقود، ما في شك. فلما هو قعد بعد فتره من الزمن مع موته مباشره، هنا جت الخراب. مع موته اللي هو المفاجئ طبعا هو من طائره، كانوا في طائره استطلاعيه زي ما تعرفوا من يوغندا، كان جاي للسودان راجع ومشى كويس بالسلامه. ولما جاء راجع حصل معه حادث وانتهى فيه. فالحادث فيها غموض طبعا احنا ما بنعرف. فالمهم ده النقطه. مباشره من الوقت ده مع الراجل قالوا ممكن عمل كم 20 يوم، يمكن اقل من شهر.
Yeah, after
فقام
exciting.
هنا بيبدا الخلاف، او هنا المشكله ده بقى في شنو؟ منو البنوب؟ منو اللي المفروض يكون هناك؟ الناس المفروض يرجعوا لشنو؟ اللي هو حركات المقاومه، حركات بتاعت التحرير، الحركات المختلفه. لانه كان الحركه الشعبيه ليس هو الوحيد اللي هو كان بقود الحرب بتاع تحرير بتاع جنوب السودان، بل كان في مجموعات كثيره معه. there was a number of army factions. في إيكاتوريا عنده جروبس، وعندك في ناس في من أبا نايل وفي ناس في على النيل. أوكي، بالإضافة لبتاع دي. فالناس زي المفروض يرجعوا لشنو؟ أنه يرجعوا للناس اللي كان في 5 مجموعات، اللي هو 4 مجموعات أو 5 مجموعات رئيسية، منهم اس بي ال، في دي سي، وفيه إيكاتوريا ديفense فورس وجماعة دي. المفروض الناس يرجعوا ويراجعوا المواقف بتاعهم، يرجعوا للقاعدة بتاعهم أنه للتمثيل، يقعدوا تحت ك5 أحزاب اللي هو حركات مسلحة. كان المفروض يقعدوا تحت ويختاروا they are supposed to sit down and select or appoint the guy who should succeed Garang. All right?
Not necessarily. أنا ما قاطع. كان مفترض يختاروا زول على ناحية إنه زول اللي بيقدر يقود المشوار ده. Yes, they getting. لكن طبعا الناس لما قالوا قيادة.
ما أنا عاوز أقول لك هنا، أنت بترجع للقاعدة الأساسية. عارف كيف؟ لأنه القاعدة الأساسية كان يعني الأمم المتحدة، ممثل الأمم المتحدة والبعثة الأمريكية نازل هم كان ساعدوا على أساس أنه يجيبوا ممثل. فمن المفترض أنه في الوقت ده يرجعوا للقاعدة، لأنه ده النص وذات الناس اللي قاعدوا ده كان المفروض يشوفوا لهم زول عشان يخطوا ويمثلوا. الكلام ده ما حصل. على طول قاموا شنو؟ طوالي شافوا السكسس بتاعهم يكون منه اللي هو كير طوالي ستيب ان. يعني انا متاكد او كير طبعا انت بتعرف الشخصيه ده عنده بولي وكده طوال ستيب ان. سو بدون اي مقدمات انت قاعد تسمع كان فوق الداك ناس دين كديل كان قاعد يقولوا يا اخي جرى لما كان جاي يموت وكان قال انه كان حصل له حاجه. الناس سالوه قال كان حصل لك حاجه في شنو؟ قال يا اخي ما يقول عندك سلبكير. So that is what people have heard.
ودي طبعا ولادات شعبية وكلامات جاي من everyone just saying it like إشاعات exactly جاي من إشاعات. But in reality the hidden agenda behind the scene was it looks dirtier from the beginning, and that's why you see today الحركة الشعبية قاعد ينفذ حاجاته. بعدين في حاجة كمان سؤال هنا ما قاطع، قالوا قرن كان قاعد يؤمن بحاجة اسمه السودان الجديد. طيب كان السودان الجديد what happened? That's another question. What happened that
yeah.
مثلا الحركة الشعبية بيطلع من كلام تاع السودان الجديد ده يمشي لجنوب السودان؟
ما هو في مسألة السودان الجديد كان ممكن يتم، عارف كيف كان ممكن يتم لو الراجل اللي كان رشح حاله مثلا، لو هو كان قاعد ونافس البشير، اكيد انا مستحيل جدا جدا هو بيقدر ينافس البشير من ناحيه الكفاءه. كان هو لغويا، عارف كيف، من ناحيه اللباقه
يعني حتى
لغويا،
الوعي الجانبي من باقي القادة
لغويا والخدمه العسكريه
المتفردين هنا.
قرن اي عسكريا كمان حاجات ديل له دور كبير. يعني هو من ناحيه اللباقه طبعا هناك عندك النص اللي مكتوب هناك نازل، رغم انه هم يعني ما وضعوا دستور جديد في البلاد هناك في السودان،
ما في
هي نفس الدستور بس شكل الحكومه، لكن الدستور هي نفس الدستور الاسلامي الموجود هناك، مع شيء يمكن لو في حاجه تغيير حصل بيكون طفيف جدا جدا، يعني حاجات بسيطه.
الاتفاقية بنفس ذاته زادوا فوقه كإضافة للدستور بتاعهم لحد ما الجنوبيين يقرروا مصيرهم. كان أنا
نصوص الاتفاقيه
لأنه الاتفاقية بقى معتمد به بالدستور ده. إذا الدستور بقى I don't know.
اوكي، حاجه انا عاوز اقوله انه شنو، during that time يعني الشعب ذاته طبعا تعرف كيف الشعب ده خلاص رضخوا، يعني رغم انه جابوا جماعه ديل طبعا ما قادر يوريهم، انت بتعرف الاعلام كويس، ما بدوا الشعب يعني الحيثيات بتاعت الاتفاقيه شنو قاعد يمشي هنا، ما بيوري الشعب، دائما بيكونوا مغلق، عارف كيف جعلوها مغلق. يعني الشعب من المفترض انه ممثلين الشعب المفروض يتقدموا
صح ما ظهر
يكونوا طرف في السلطه، عارف كيف في سلطه بتاع الخرطوم ده. الشيء اللي وضعت هناك انه 3/4 الناس دينكا ونوير دي هم محتكرين كان في برلمان بتاع الخرطوم هناك، لحد لما شفتهم قريبات لما استقلت جنوب السودان
كله
نازل كله رجعوا هناك كله شنو دينكا ونوير اغلبيتهم. بالنسبه لكتوري كان مهمش ما عنده اي يعني لو في بيتوجد تكون 2 ولا 3 2. انا بتذكر في واحد كده يعني، او بعد زمن هم قاموا شنو، ده واحد من الاخطاء اللي حصل يعني في الوقت داك. طبعا الناس اللي احتكروا السلطه على اساس انه شنو هم في الوقت داك طبعا هم يعني من زانيانيا اللي هو مجموعه لكن هل شاركوا الشعب؟ ما شاركوا، ما في مشاركه للشعب المالي. المهم بعد ما وصلنا ب 2000 لتصويت، طبعا في فقره بتاعت الاتفاقيه انه الناس يصوتوا، عرفت كيف؟ لما الناس دخلوا التصويت اللي هو الشعب بيدوهم استفتاء، لما عملوا استفتاء للشعب اتضح انه شنو في الاستفتاء لو يطلع هسه صاروا يعني حتى الراجل ده ناس مشر كير ده الزمن اللي قعدوه اللي هو خلال 6 سنوات ده من 2005 لحد 2011 النازل ما لعبوا اي دور بالمعنى. طبعا كان في ميدانيه يا دوب كان فتحوا لهم القروش كان موجود هنا، والناس بدأوا يلعبوا فوق، عارف كيف؟ بدأوا يلعبوا فوقه يستغلوها لمصالحهم الخاصه. وده في النهايه مع مرور بعد ما دخولنا للمرحله العام السادس لقينا انه ما كان في حاجه اسمه تنميه بالمعنى.
Okay, خليني stop you there for a second.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
I know because طبعا قلنا هنعمل a lot of topics because now we went to one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. أهم شيء أنا عاوز أركز هنا كمان أنت قلت كلام مهم جدا، هو ناس بدوا باختلاسات وقت الريفرندوم ده بعد ما قرن مات وكده. ناس كان أنا لأنه سمينا حاجات ده واضح، حتى ذات الأوروبيين اصطدموا من خلال المعلومات ده. يعني these guys أنا حتى ذات أنا مذكر في مقالة كده كان زي لك قالوا زي منو ده الكتالوج الصحافي ده. These guys يعني هم رفضوا ذاته يجوا في كان في لسه outstanding things that within that comprehensive peace agreement. يعني لسه في أوراق مفترض يناقشوها، يا واحد منه حدود، والتاني كان موضوع بتاع you know يعني في كتير حتى أيوة الثروة المعدنية أو
اوكي تقاسم الثروة
الثروة وحاجات يعني كان ده نقاش مفترض يقعدوا فوقه عشان هم يقدروا
لا الثروة القومية كانت حسمت
not in particular لأنه في ناس هاي 50
بين
لكن
الشمال والجنوب
أنا فاهم كلام ده، لكن شنو ما قال لهم في ورقة ده أنتوا عندكم time to come back and renegotiate some things that أنتوا شايفينه في حاجات تقدروا تناقشوها، خاصة الحدود ده كان من أهم شيء. But those
اوكي
guys were
حدود
not
جغرافية صح.
interested on that. Most of the time they were just running around with the money, doing their whatever, shady deals, and then even above that كان في دول اللي قاعد يعمل خلاص. يعني imagine قبل ما نكونوا دولة، عشان تعرف حاجة الغلط هنا، already ناس الحركة الشعبية وكل الناس اللي جاي انضموا معاهم ده بيجوا يعملوا زي كونتراكت. يعني already بيجوا يرسموا خطط الكونتراكت بتاع بترول ده وشنو بيحصل as if هم nation, as if هم دولة. وده بنفس ذاته فيه هنا a question about it. The people
والله
don't even have the right yet. I mean دول الشعب المسؤولية هم يقرروا مصيرهم، وديل بدل هم يركزوا للشعب عشان الشعب يقدر يعرف وين مكانه what is the next step. automatically اشخاص ديل لسه قالوا حركة شعبية، يعني بيعملوا حالهم حكومة في راس ناس ده قبل ما يقدر يوصلوا للحلول اللي قاعدين يقولوا المتنازع يا مشكلة بتاع أرض ده.
يا
so yeah, so these guys were, that's a betrayal in itself. يعني ده خيانة، كان أنا ما غلطان للمواطن.
مع المسألة في الحدود. أنا اللي بقول عن الحدود الجغرافية جاد 200. طبعا في ظل اللي هو الاتفاقية 2000 و2005 و2006 كان الاحتمالات أنه الدولة بتاعت الدولة بتاعت السودان الاتحادي بيكون واحد.
من ياتو هلو، أنا ما قاعد نسمعك، أنت قطعت تلفونك قطع. hello, you gotta connect your device.
No, I'm saying
yeah, go ahead.
أنا بقول شنو أنه كان طبعا الاتفاقية عنده شقتين، إنه 2 شق، يعني واحد شقة ألا وهو بعد 2000 من 2005 ل 2006. then after that should they fail أنه يعملوا السلام شنو اللي هو الجذاب، اللي هو اتفاقية اللي هو شنو اللي هو
الشمال
الاتحادية
السلام الشامل ده.
الجذاب. أيوه اتفاقية الاتفاقية شنو الجاذبة، عارف كيف؟
yeah, attractive piece kind of like this kind of system.
So once because by then of course you don't have to think about that at that very time. You don't have to think about it. That will not be an issue. Not until 2011 when people went for to vote for referendum. That was the time when things got changed. Because this is now once Jamadil Najahu Sudan بقى دولة مستقلة. So once it's become دولة, so أي واحد بيعرف الخريطة بتاعه وين، خريطة جغرافية، والناس دي فعلا الخريطة كانت مكتوبة هناك كمان، بيكون ضمن اللوائح الموجودة في الاتفاقية.
هنرجع back like one question to you.
They were not serious about it. I don't think they were
they
serious
were
about
not.
it.
Like, there is so many فحاجات مثلا في أسئلة كتير في ناحية بتاع 2005 ده الاجريمنت ده والطريقة اللي مشوا فوق ونازل. طبعا أشخاص ده كتير هسه بيتكلموا as if هم كانوا عملوا حاجة ممتاز، لكن if you look at it, it was not in truth. It was just based on promises على أساس إحنا عايزين نبني جنوب السودان حيكون دولة وإحنا هنقدر نستفيد. لأنه متذكر حتى هم the way how they talk about إنه الأرض البلد ده حيكون خلاص غنية بالموارد. طبعا عندنا موارد حنكون أغنياء وهنا هنطلع من جنوب. يعني الأطماع بتاع اللي قالوا سياسيين تاع جنوب السودان they were already playing, they were they were playing, قاعد يرسموا خطط كيف هم يطلعوا أغنياء، لكن بدون فهم بتاع اقتصاد البلد ده هيكون كيف.
هي المعروف انه SPLA بالذات يعني هو الجناح الرئيسي ده
وهو يا ماشي الأغلبية بتاع
ده هذا الجناح كان عنده مخططات اصلا من الغابة. الناس كان عندهم مخطط كبير واضح جدا جدا. يعني واحد من الحركات اللي كان بيعملوها، يعني حتى القيادات الإكواتوريا كان عندهم قيادات كبيرة، يعني هم كانوا عندهم سياسة استغلال، يعني بيستغلوا الإكواتوريانز. يعني لما بيجيبوك جنبه لما تأدي واجب بتاعه وده، لما يشوفوك كيف انت عاوز تقول الحقائق ويدك بيشيلوك برا بأسلوبه آخر، عارف كيف بيشيلوك برا. So that was the tactics that was going on. والناس دي حتى they kept اللي هو الدستور والنظم والحاجات دي هم already they already prepare it. حتى القروش ذاته طبعت قروش وحاجات دي كله they already prepare it. imagine ناس زي ده
بس استغلوا الشعب زي ما
هم prepare اي حاجه. يعني هم لما جو هناك هم occupiers not liberators. ناس ما جايين liberators لانه حتى دخولهم في جوبا كانت عمليه سخيفه جدا جدا. عارف كيف؟ المراقبين الدوليين اللي كانوا قاعد شافوا انه الناس دي يعني تحرك زمن كاحتلاليين. يعني اكثر حاجه كنا قاعد نسمع عنه يعني بالنسبه للاكواتوريين كانوا شغالين في وظائف الاداريه وكده هناك كانوا بينزلوهم بيقول لهم انتوا جلابه عسكر انت جلابه وانت عربي يعني كانوا بيسموهم كده.
So they
it tells you that يعني SPLA was having a plan. Those people are well prepared. They're well prepared. They know what they are doing. So Equatorians, the question goes to the Equatorians. Do they know what was going on at the background? Did they know while they were as a colleagues fighting side by side? That is most of the question. There are more many Equatorians who knows it. For instance, people like
I can say something here and then I give Hadassah because it's not fair to let Hadassah not.
Oh yeah. That's like Sule, for instance. Yeah.
Yes. طبعا في ناس زي واني تومبي كان عرض حاجات كتير حتى كلمة انفصال ده وكان عنده تحفظ كتير. طبعا ده another topic. Like last time we said like اسمه ده واني تومبي was number one critique of the SPLM. وشايف SPLM عنده خطوات ما صحيح لكن للأسف يستوي موقفه معه. ده حاجة اللي سألتها قبل شوية. They are Equatorian aware about it. هل استوائين كانوا هم عندهم العلم أو عندهم معرفة أو the knowledge هم عارفين الحقائق ده كله. هم عارفين في ناس عارفين وطنشوا ولا عارفين الطنشوا ده معظمهم هم كانوا قاعدين يجروا ورا مصالحهم الخاصة. عشان كده تلقاهم كتير
القضية شنو
للحركة الشعبية بالسرعة على أساس هم شنو يقدر أنا بتعرف نقول لك يا أخي كان في مصلحة هنا أنت نط وخلي الباقين. So they did that some of them and this is why
أنا أوريك يعني حتى قرن ناس زي الشماليين كان قاعد يمبريز قرن على أساس إنه ده جهل يا أخي ده مننا. عرفت كيف؟ they used to embrace this guy. So one thing is that يعني قرن كان عنده حاشية بتاعت شنو مجموعة بتاعت الناس زي كل جلابة ده كان قاعدين جنبه طوالي. يعني كان يشوف استقباله كان في خرطوم الناس كان كله حتفوا له وكانوا يعني كلهم طلعوا على بكرة أبيهم وكانوا جايين عشان يستقبلوا لما جاء في خرطوم عشان يجي يشكل الحكومة مع بشير. So this guy was guided by what؟ يعني جلابة ده كان كله to his side. So هنا Equatorians if you are not prepared as well انت ما بتلقى انه you can't be able to have any chance. انت ما بيكون عندك chance لانه it was supposed to be at the starting point. Immediately at the starting point people should work it out. تعرف كيف؟
متى قلت
نوع الدولة ده أننا ماشيين نكونوا هسه now okay يقولوا أنه يا سيادة اوكي أننا ماشيين نكونوا دولة. How are we going to work it out؟ تعرف كيف؟ لأنه ما دايرين ظلم كمان next time أنه already خشينا في خلافات كان بعد نظام اللامركزية. هنا we don't want to get to that point anymore.
يعني
so we need to prepare everything in an orderly way that everybody has to have his fair share. تعرف كيف؟ It's unfortunate. They didn't do it in the earlier times. So what do you think of when it comes to the later times؟ لما الناس دخلوا في انتخابات مع الخرطوم لأنه بعد الفترة دي دخلوا في الانتخابات دي كان بينهم شنو؟ البشير ومفروض يكون واحد من شنو؟ من الجنوبيين ده
من المعارضة الأخرى اللي عملوا اتفاقية السلام عشان يكون ده
ممثل
انتخابات حرة ونزيهة لكن ما طلع
هم بيجيبوا. لكن للأسف الشديد الوقت ده there wasn't any chance. حتى candidate عشان ينافس زول ده somebody who can stand with Bashir it was difficult for Southerners to pick it out. Somebody who could have stand with him كان ممكن يكون لما كول. تعرف كيف؟ لأنه لما كول عنده الجدارة لغويا وممتاز وبعدين حتى يعني لغويا هو ممتاز يعني في بين انجليزي وعربي هو بيتكلم كويس
وعنده خبره.
هم حذفوه هم حمشوا راجل ده لانه لما كول بالطبيعه بتاعه كان هو شنو بلاي بلاك مره بيمشي مع الخرطوم لما يسخن معهم لما يشوف حركات قرن هناك ومجموعه بتاعت المتمردين ده قاعد يعمل حركات كيف ما بيعجبه وبيفرتك منهم وبيمشي للشمال لما يلغى ضغط. يعني هو كان موانئه وبعدين اللي هو شنو غاربينو المؤسس له كان عمل ميوتني ده ذاته، غاربينو ذاته اللي كان عمل الحركات دي في توريد، اللي عصى الحكومه في توريد، عارف كيف؟ ده كان واحد من الجروب اللي كان موجودين معاه. So it was difficult for this guy to get a
كده
chance.
واحد نقدر نسأل قبل عشان أنا ما نخلي حداثة يكون left out.
Okay, bring
Uh,
up, yeah.
mhm. Go ahead, finish your point.
So what I'm saying هنا انه شنو؟ بقى ما في طريقه هم قاموا جابوا شنو؟ ياسر عرمان في 2010 على اساس انه يخش في انتخابات.
سنة قبل الانفصال.
ايوه. طبعا الوقت ذاك ضمن الاطار السودان الموحد، تعرف كيف؟ الموضوع اللي كان within one Sudan, United Sudan. That was the situation. So it's unfortunate during that time. Imagine they wouldn't pick Lama Col, they went on picking Yasser Orman. So that shows the idea was actually انه شنو يكونوا في خرطوم، انه to follow the idea بتاع قرن على اساس انه شنو احنا نقدر بعد فتره احنا ممكن نمسك الخرطوم ونحتل البلد ده كله كويس. So here he failed. لما شافوا بعد يومين ثلاثه لما شافوا ياسر رومان ده he began to prepare himself عشان compete مع زول اسمه بشير. جاس من كانوا من كيف دم من ونسوا كلامهم هناك طوال ناس بيجي زي ومن طوال قال call this guy. They call him down, they call him to withdraw. عارف كيف؟ وقام withdraw. So بشير لقى نفسه هو براو يوين البتاع ده البريزيدنسي automatically هو president وياه. So that was the time يعني بقى يلا بقى شنو؟ بقى هم ادوا فرصه بقى طبعا the same thing has to happen in السودان لانه عندنا كان حكومه هناك the same حكومه بتاعت اللي هو 1972 self autonomy. They were given those self autonomy. It was given back with power, at least with power.
صح. جنوب السودان كان عنده حكم بتاعه
في البدايه كان شنو؟ كان جنوبي الانسان الجنوبي بيخطوني برا شنو؟ النائب الثاني لرئيس الجمهوريه. لما قرن جاء قام خطوه النائب شنو؟ الاول. Yeah. So that was
رمزي. رمزي.
Yeah. So that was how things goes. So when that happened, تعرف كيف؟ لما حاجه دي حصل هنا يوم قام عينوا ناس طبعا من هناك كمان عينوا جابنس في ولايات العشر اللي كان هناك هم عينوا جابنس هناك وبتاعتك كتور عين بتاعهم وبدك in a democratic way that was more acceptable than today. لما تشوف الليله بيجي واحد يدي زول ثاني ديكتيت which is يودي حكومه بتاع الرجيم بتاع الحكومه العسكريه بتاعت اللي هو بتاع المجموعه ده بتاع مريدين ده من ماسكين السلطه. So that was what happened. So هنا بتلقى انه الخطا دي سلسله من الاخطاء يعني حاجات دي accumulated over the times. لما جينا في 2011 imagine the guy behind in the distance هو قال كان عاوزين تكونوا عبيد للمندكورو خليكم صوتوا لشنو بينام وكذا. So automatically even though حاجه بتاعه ما عنده big influence لانه الجنوبيين كانوا بيعرفوا هم they were under pressure. عارف كيف؟ They are going to vote. من كان بي vote whatever the situation is. من بي vote لصالح شنو؟ لصالح
take time. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So what happened is that الحصل هناك في الوقت ده it was bad. يعني هم شنو؟ كان ممكن يصوتوا. هم لما صوتوا الشعب لما صوتوا كمان شوف ما كان في ممثلين للشعب بالمعنى. ممثلين للشعب ما في. كان الاحتكار شنو؟ نفرين دي هم احتكروا الحالة ده. يعني الاحتكار بتاع كير ومشهر ده قصه بتاع كير سيناريو بتاع كير ومشهر اللي طلعوا بقى رؤساء بتاع 2011 بعد independent it start from that point. لما هم جا هنا 2011 لما الناس لما هم طلعوا لما الدولة طلع مثلا بلد بقى وطلع بقى مستقل دولة مستقلة او في اجراءات طبعا الدولة دي كان طلع يمكن شهر 7 لكن they delayed 2 months later لحد شهر 9 they delayed بنعمل delaying في حاجة ده. يعني those people are supposed to sit down والشعب مفروض يجري يضغط نفسه هنا. الشعب ما ليه اي دور. يعني كان في parties there were more many parties هو كان في parties
بعدين بس نضيف حاجه ده احزاب ده كان كله احزاب تمرديه ده ما احزاب سياسيه
ايوه
عنده فكر سياسي او يعني عنده knowledge like they can come and challenge
هم كانوا بيجوا عايشين شنو كل زول عاوز يلقى وظيفه. كانوا كيف هم كان كل زول بقى قاعد يجري عاوز وظيفه. So هم they forget انه الحكومه ده المفروض حكومه بتاع شعب لانه هم they didn't win in the war. when we win the war العكس they were going to be taken to a criminal law. I mean ماشيين يشيلوهم في
في كثير
المحكمه الدوليه
باجرام
لانه كان عندهم تجاوزات. كان هو بشير كان هو ده عارف كيف واحد منهم ياو كان في sanction. تطبيق السانكشن was one of part of that. so these things يبقى عنه شنو الشعب هنا لما جاء 2011 كانوا فرحانين ولحد ما دخلوا هناك ومن محذوفين. يعني الناس اللي هناك SPLA تلقائيا احتكر الموضوع ده، احتكر السلطة تماما بالتمام والكمال. يا وقت ده يا وقت طلع ناس مجموعة زي ناس جورج أطهر وجماعة ديل ومن لما قاعد يشوفوا حركات ديل ومن شاف حركات ده ما جاي يدينا لقدام، جاي يخرب البلد ده، جاي نكون في خراب. لكن طبعا ناس طلعوا لهم خطة. واحد من المخططات بتاعهم بتاعت SPLA او دي قال نقل شنو نقل المدينه للقريه. عرفت كيف؟ yeah that was one of the things. يلا automatically يلا طبعا بالنسبه ليه مثلا كان اخذ كنت سالت نوير ليه نوير طلع نمره 2؟ لانه نوير هو كان نيت he was one of the serious guys و very very tough وبيشيل حقه بقوه. يعني نوير كان ما قاعد يجيب دام لدينكا. كان دينكا عمل حركات كان مثلا ليدرز دينكا ده قال زي ناس مشى الراوز يقول انه انا الوكيل راوز يقول انا عاوز اشيل اجر انا باخذ رئيس الجمهوريه. نو هو ما بخلي. لذلك هو كان منافس خطير جدا جدا لدينكا. leave alone that 19 that's why 1991 كان عنده كارثه كبير. so even Gering was watching out لزول ده لكير he was not happy of مشهد.
so we will yeah sorry
yeah. so
we will
those things have accumulated all these issues. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, بس عشان لأنه timing and I was at the لأنه we spoke like almost 39 minutes and we didn't give a chance to Hadassah.
Go ahead.
So just Hadassah to come up to this point. طبعا حسب وصفته وصفه بتاع CJ is that الوضع اللي حتى حصل الفيلير أو South Sudan independence what went wrong. يعني الأخطاء بدأ من بداية comprehensive peace agreement. السؤال اللي بيسأل نفسه the comprehensive peace agreement that was written there, after all these things were said that the people of South Sudan يعني ادونا paragraph صغير للشعب بس قال the people of South Sudan have the right to go, they will decide for themselves if they want to be part of Sudan or part of independent South Sudan. يعني انت كان خيلت في منظر ده كله this is the top. ده بس حاجة الوحيدة كان سميت حتى publicly they announce it انه يا جنوبيين انتوا بتكرروا مصيركم. لكن after that there is no anything to come after. يعني ما في شيء تاني جا قدام من ورا الكلام ده. ده ذاته سؤال بنفسه. And the people also ignored to ask questions.
يعني they have been used. يعني الشعب بس has been used as حلقة بتاعت وصف بس إنه
yes عشان
زي جسر بس تنط من هنا لهناك. That's what it is.
Exactly. يوصل التماسيح عشان يقدر يستغلوا الشعب واليوم الشعب بس قاعد يتعذب وهم لسه المجرمين ده.
Can you define it in English?
I'm sorry. Those so-called criminals, like I call them criminals, of course. Those who call themselves politicians, they just played the game without any remorse, without any conscience within their hearts to go forward and knowing that this thing is going to betray the people. Because to me, even I remember there's some people in the international community from United Nations, they said that's a betrayal. Some people actually objected it, that this comprehensive peace agreement is a betrayal. And people at that time didn't understand why they call it betrayal. Because later we found out, excuse me, there is an echo from someone. So they didn't know that this is a betrayal until when the country became independent, and then years later, the people are suffering under the hand of this tyrannical regime, tribal regime that is now running the country. So my point here that when you see all these nonsense going on, now some of these politicians trying to escape away and say it's not our fault. It's Kir's fault. If Kir is gone, everything will be okay. SPLA had a vision. But look at the way how they worked on that comprehensive peace agreement without enlightening the people on the facts that this comprehensive peace agreement is only a contract between the rebels and that time the rebel and the regime of Khartoum, Omar al-Bashir. It wasn't about the people. They only used the people as a, like Zamato Gulta, wasila as a purpose for them to go and move on, to go independent. But then that independent came into a hell for all the South Sudanese, especially in Equatoria right now. So what I'm trying to say here,
They use the people as a
yeah,
passage, it's a passage just to get
yeah,
them there.
exactly. So I want to ask you, Hadassah, from your side, I don't know, when you were listening, following that thing in the past, like watching it, knowing these things, have you ever had confidence that this thing is going to be a good idea to separate at that time? And what was the reason? If even, I know some people even had doubt, but they still went and voted for separation. But at that time, when that moment happened and you're watching, what was the first question came to your head about this independent of South Sudan, or, South to be one country? Because now they're giving us something that South Sudanese never even had before. Hajismu, to choose, make a choice. What do you want? Do you want this or this? What was that moment like to you? Let me unmute you. I think you're mute. Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah.
This is really a deep question, really. Like, it's almost sounding like as if choose between death and life, you know?
Hmm.
And it's true. Like, what was going in my mind during that time when we were given the choice to vote? Definitely, I felt like the fear, and also, hearing, there was news happening going on that, after we separate from North Sudan, these things that are happening right now, that is going to happen. We all heard about it. People were talking about it, you know. So to me, which I didn't vote, of course, because reasons why I didn't vote, because based on what is happening right now. Because when I heard that these things were gonna happen, and I thought, like, I don't think that was a good idea, really, because there was no any clear direction whereby if the country, we separated, who is gonna take over? There was no clear system, There was no clear, let's say, like, constitution, or form. We haven't formed any government that, who we wanted to lead us, who's gonna, like, be the president, who's gonna be the vice president, and stuff like that. It was just a chaos that, okay, we're just voting, come and vote, choose, you want to vote, or you want to stay with South Sudan, sorry, you want to
With
depart as
North,
South Sudan.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Or
yep,
you
yeah.
want to
And
stay
North,
as North Sudan. Yeah, as one country. So this is really a danger in itself, and it's true that, that's why you see it led us to this catastrophe that is happening right now, to this chaos. And I thought it was really not a good idea, because it was not really well drafted. It was not thought through. It was destined to fail. This separation was destined to fail, the way I
All
see
right.
it.
and
Let me, if I can interject, okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, there's one thing, but then by the time, you was in Khartoum, were you in Khartoum or in Juba?
No,
Adessa?
During the referendum,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was here in Australia.
Oh, you're in Australia.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Then, have you ever come across, is there any debates at all, did you guys hold any debates about this issue
This issue.
of,
No, no,
yeah,
no.
whether or not,
I haven't heard, like, basically, I haven't heard of any debates that were going, or South Sudanese or calling themselves together that, hey, let's come and sit down and see what's gonna happen. And also,
exactly.
like, yeah, there's not even Equatorians themselves, like, they have never sat down and said, let's talk about this, let's sit down and see what's in for us as Equatorians. Because there were rumors
That-
that are going among us, the Equatorians, saying that, if we separate, the Dinkas are going to do this, they're going to kill people, they're going to, grab lands, there's going to be killing, and wars are going to happen, like, in South Sudan.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
true.
it
That's
was
true. Yep.
happening. Yeah, it was happening. Even we discussed it with one of my friends, and I was like, I'm not going to vote. And she said, like, she's not going to vote, but I think she went and voted at the end of the day. But yeah, but there was not any discussion. Nobody was really, like, wanted to discuss about it. And to the other tribes, like the Dinka, I think they were well informed by their people what's going to happen. Let them play along,
Hmm.
it's united front, and then after that, then they will carry the agendas, because you could see it straight away after the separation, what took place straight away. No even rest, no breath. Straight away they just declared that we fought, we
Well, I
died more,
understand.
we
Understand.
we freed we freed you, we have the right to live anywhere.
Wow,
straight away
wow.
things like that were happening,
Mhm.
and the rest of the South Sudanese just went, like, they just went dead,
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
almost
meanwhile,
just
more
paralyzed.
many, according to the
Yeah.
general, many Equatorians got killed, during that time. They used to transfer the Equatorians from their area to the other areas to Bahar al Ghazal, during the war, of course, during that civil war time. Those of Gering will recruit you, and then you will be taken to the front lines where you have to comfort the Jalaba and then fight with them. And then most of the time, sometimes, if they see you, so if you are progressing and developing, instead of promoting you, they will take you out if you prove
Mm,
to be somebody very, very brilliant and excellent, in the jobs.
And
So that
mm,
is exactly what was going on. So many of Equatorians, according to the general, later, we hear that, it came late that many Equatorians, some of them even commit suicide in the areas of Bahr Ghazal and Upper Niles, where they've been sometimes, when time comes, they will say, we wanted to go to Equatoria, and imagine they were young
mm,
teenagers and all that. When they wanted to make it home to Equatoria, then they
mm.
will take them out. Sometimes some of them used to give up, their lives. So that's exactly what it is.
just
So,
But why?
you know,
Sorry, why do you think this is happening? I think for me this is happening is just like reducing the number of
yeah,
Equatorians.
yeah,
This is the
checking
time
out
whereby,
the best. Imagine
yeah,
those
yeah.
who are with SPLA, those who are the best writers, those who are the best ones, people who have been in the working side, because getting used to the most intellectuals were the Equatorians. I know like Lucky, this gentleman by name Lucky, he,
Mm,
all of a sudden, got passed away. Most of those commanders, who
mm.
are to with who are siding with Garang, who used to be one of their people, their officials and all that. Most of the Equatorians, by the time when they get to that independent, to the peace deal, most of them are almost gone, in a
and
way or another.
let me ask you this just to brief it on to me here. Uh, was it a bigger mistake for Equatorian to join SPLM? Was it a mistake?
Definitely. Is that question to me?
Yeah, it was
All of
indeed
you.
a
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah. For me, it's one of the worst mistakes we have done is to join SPLA. But if we had joined SPLA because it was a mistake, mistakes happen. That there's a deception whereby oh, let's join together, fight the war against North and stuff like that. But Equatorians, we ourselves, we have seen what was happening during the struggle movement. We saw how the mistreatment of Equatorians, the brothers that were in the war, or the ladies that were there to the sisters, we saw
Mhm.
the mistreatment. We heard some people were dying of hunger. We heard, like, people burying their own brothers, Equatorians. They have food, but you
Oh,
will not eat, you know. And
oh,
then
that's very
secondly,
bad.
the mistreatment of, like, coming to the areas whereby, villages. This war was only waged in Equatorian regions, not never in their regions. And when they come there, they will, like, beat people, get you to cook all your foods all night, everybody sitting up, raping people and stuff like that. Was a party of
So
nightmare going on there.
the behavior of rape was always been
Yeah.
SPLM method of war.
Mm. Mm.
So SPLM is not a, yeah, and this is the surprising thing for me.
So, do we mean that, all these abuses were there, of course?
Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
not it's still Salib Al Ahmar or the Red Cross
Yeah.
reported that incident so many times. Even the United Nations had a documentation. Now it's disappeared. Some people try to make it disappear, but it's not disappeared. It's still there.
Yeah.
But
I, I
So,
have a I
so
have a friend of
they're
mine
saying
that
that
she.
SPLM was a criminal organization
Mm.
from the start. They didn't even acknowledge it as as a real. They got an ideology that really can say, because at the end that's why the international community kind of like had a doubt. But then when they began to articulate, focus themselves as Christians fighting Muslims, then
Mm.
SPLM began to
Yeah,
change
that's the masquerade
their,
that they
their
put
language.
on. Yeah.
And then in the north, they use in the north with the northern, like Nubo and I, they used to say we are fighting for the new Sudan and we need a secular Sudan for us, to Christians and non-Christians, Muslims and non-Muslims, to join and live together as the new Sudan. That's the ideology that he created within the northerners, not the southerners particular, because southerners already know the ugliness of what SPLA is in like Yaufa Equatoria. Unfortunately, some Equatorians turn blind eye, keeping Even some of them who were working in the SPLM knew about it, but they did not do anything. And that even made me question them.
Yeah, I was gonna
With all
say
due
that.
respect,
Yeah.
make me question them why they didn't stand up to defend their brothers and sisters who are being murdered by the SPLM.
Okay, here's the deal.
That's a good question.
Here's what I
Uh,
can say. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's further. Yeah, go ahead. Say what you want. Yeah, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is, hello, can you hear me?
And I can
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. The role of any political party is supposed to mobilize its people. You understand? It is unfortunate. None of those political parties or those who have just claimed, will claim by the time that they are political parties. They didn't play any role of mobilizing their people so that they could know what is their rights or demand their rights. It is
Mobilizing
unfortunate.
civilians in particular, because the Dinka and where they're mobilizing their people. If you look at them in the camp, because I heard this in the camp in Kakuma, those guys, they talking about what they're doing in their SPLM. The Nuer, they're organizing themselves as a Nuer group. The Dinka are organizing themselves as a Dinka group,
Yeah.
and that's
You
why
know,
when we come up
you know
here.
why?
Go
You know
ahead.
why do they get this chance? You know why?
Mm-hmm.
One thing is that the way according to what I have figured out over the times is that they used to pretend that the oil is theirs. You understand? Number one, they used to pretend that the oil are theirs, and number two, most of the time when they get in contact with those Europeans, they used to tell them that okay, or those representative UN representative and all that we are the Sudanese and
And we are
those
the
people
majority of the country.
are Ugandan.
Yeah,
That
very
point is
quickly
there.
like that. Very
So they're
quickly, like
throwing
Yeah.
yesterday,
false information.
we were all like Sudanese or Southern Sudanese. But then all of a
So
sudden, when we become South Sudan, then quickly they turn around and say that we are not South Sudanese, we're Ugandans and
Not only
Congolese.
that,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you hear
Yeah,
that's
that was the kind of tactic,
they
that
said.
was the tactics when used by Jalaba. Jalaba used to use these tactics. This is the kind of tactics Jalaba used it when Joseph Lagu in 1972,
Yes.
of course, when successfully he get the self autonomy. So they were so jealous, the Dinkas, as far as Jalaba was not happy because after all, what so-called self-autonomy, this self-autonomy may lead one day into independence. So they were not happy with Equatorians. That's why they went on, just they went on just giving some rumors to those Dinkas that those people are from Uganda and all that. That was what it is. Meanwhile, if you look to the Equatoria, today's Equatoria, it has been annexed to that country in
Yeah,
18
by colonialists.
yeah,
Yeah, back.
yeah, by the colonialists
But
in 1889. December 1889, they got annexed into that country. After some kind of deals with the Leopold and the French troops as well. That was what it is. So Dinka was playing dirty games. Imagine somebody who could
Well,
say, in front of you, he said, "Will tell you I'm your brother," but behind
he
or
was.
with the foreigners, will start claiming that this guy is not from here.
yeah,
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. Go ahead.
one thing.
like what they're using now in South Sudan in Juba, whereby within there they will be calling people wewe, like wewe, just to isolate you, to stigmatize you that you're not a South Sudanese. Like they talk about unity. If we can unite, just let's unite. But then they go out there, they meet the South Sudanese, the Equatorians and stuff like that. They call them wewe. Wewe means that, like a word that people use in
Foreigner.
the East Africa. In the
Foreigner.
East Africa, yeah,
A
like
foreign,
something. It
a foreign.
just something that is like you
A white
tell
man.
someone
Sometimes.
like hey you or something,
Gharib.
like
Okay.
that.
Oh, you.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. Just like
Oh, yeah. The other thing is that imagine when those two guys took the power in South Sudan, in Equatoria, in South Sudan, where Equatoria was used as a capital. Imagine what they do. All the money used to come to them. We used to hear that those generals could take the money right away and take it home, then distribute it among them. This was there. All this kind of money laundering was ongoing.
I mean, they are
So
corrupt from the start, from their roots. They're corrupt.
yeah, that's true. That is what it is. So there's a big game down there, down the road. It's unfortunate Equatorians, of course, as individual, I believe that there are some Equatorians who went on comforting all these things and speaking up. But it's unfortunate, of course, most of the time, we will end up to death.
But
they will take you out.
No, but
Yeah.
if I can go back and talk
man,
about
I lose my point. Yeah, go ahead.
if I can say go back to what one of us here said that I think did you ask a question whereby if some of our people knew it, why they're not telling us what was happening, what was gonna
Yeah.
happen? Yeah, did you
The
ask a
truth.
question like that?
And this question is particular for those who have joined the SPLM from the beginning.
Yeah,
Knowing that
yeah.
SPLM, like we always, like how many times we have been telling our brothers and sisters of Equatoria that SPLM was not created for South Sudanese.
Mm,
I don't know if they created for Upper Nile, but they're not created for Equatoria in
there you go.
particular, not for Equatoria. Because the SPLM, they looked at Equatoria with hatred, with a divine hatred. That means they're looking at us that we are not in the same level with them because of the way we come from and where they come from. The
Mm,
Dinka still remember Kokora, that is still incite them with hatred. And then they also, because of the way how Equatorian in the past perceived themselves as a society, on the time when they were fighting for revolution, Dinka was still behind in that idea. And some of the Dinka who are intellectuals, they are all collaborators of Arabs. They work with the Arabs, not working with the Southerners in any idea of revolution. كان منو هناك في ناس حتى في واحد قاعدين يقولوا كان دينكاوي هو واحد الهيلب اندبندنت جنوب السودان امين خرطوم لما قال انا شنو؟ قال انا سوداني قال انا سوداني وما سوداني. These
No,
kind
well, هو بالنسبة لده,
But
it was,
the reason why
ما انا
the
لسه ما
reason why
فهمت.
I went back. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, but just to say, the point is that those kind of characters known in history, like Equatorian عارفين تاريخ تاع الناس ده. Abel Alier جا betrayed Equatorian لما نجا بقى governor تاع جنوب السودان, and Abel Alier was not part of the Anyanya, but he was given there as a gesture. And who the جنوبي زينا لأنه دينكا هنا قاعدين في بور ومكانات ديل قال دينكا ديل جنوبيين. But because that was a mistake of Anyanya too. Anyanya, man, ما قصر Anyanya too, like in that mistake of Anyanya in particular, because Anyanya did not.
all right, let me interject here.
بس انا اقول لانه كان عندهم كان really في something هم عملوا mistake, هم trusted
أنا أقول at that period of time in 1972,
yeah.
Jalaba can used to favor Denka, تعرف كيف, and most, imagine once Denka was rare, ما كانوا موجودين بكثرة بالبعض.
انا ما
يعني
رافض
هم كانوا محافظين.
favor Dinka, it's
Yeah.
true. Anybody
كان في اثنين ثلاثة. By the time لما لقوا دخل في اتفاقية, they went on against him. they were not happy. بالذات يهودا عندك زي نوير, عندك واحد اسمه جوردن ماتود, وطوالي طلع معارض انه I'm against this agreement. تعرف كيف؟ Because he was not part of the agreement. Of course, كان قاعد يشاكلوا في شمال, وإيكاتوريا كان وصل قاعد يحارب في إيكاتوريا. Equatoria was the field, the war field, that was where it is. لكن بالنسبة للناس على النيل, Upper Nile والبحر الغزال, were served. الناس محلات ديل كان, there wasn't any, kind of, massacre and death like what was taking place in Equatoria. That's one of the reasons. So Jamadel, they had to play this game. Imagine, ما شافوا ناس دينكا ديل, خطوه هناك, they don't want to lose South Sudan. تعرف كيف؟ ما دايرين to lose area ده. Because they know it very well. Mahal de Fogo resources for very, very rich.
And we'll talk about that in a minute, because
the reason why they don't want to give it up. So they have to use those Dinkas. Abel Alier. So Abel Alier did play the games, indeed. Even the Khalifa, like I used to say, what I used to say, and the Modu at border demarcations are, there was a demarcations that took place in 80s, in 1980, 80 probably. That would be.
Hold on.
That demarcation have played a very big role of causing Mahal Lasma and as Abuyei Mahaladel. That is what caused that. Ebenezer was behind it. He was the chairman. He was the head of the demarcations. The new demarcations at Jalaba Amalu. That is why Lama Unibinja Finihaya Mangal, no, we have to go to 1956 border lines, where there was a visa. People used to, there was that the closed district area where people used to be given, visas to pass.
أنا فهمت.
south to Equatoria.
Coast district. بس خليك في thought ده, hold your thought in there. Because الحاجات ده هيكون a lot of, في مقالات عندنا نجيبه. I'm not gonna bring it today because it's late apparently in the US. So, but we're trying to just talk هنا in general. حاجات دي لكن هنجيب حاجات دي كله topic resources, demarcation, and about نرجع لأنه الtopic هو actually, as you know, South Sudan independence and the separation itself from the north. بعدين في حاجة واحد عندنا نرجع لحداثة very important because you mentioned earlier, and then I would come back to you, CJ.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
أنت قلت قبلك you did not vote for that nation. Then the people, because this question is not only for you, but for those, all of the, especially Equatoria. I'll focus on Equatoria because I don't know about the other tribes اللي كانوا vote. لكن في ناس كتير vote. لكن في Equatorian فعلا هم ما vote على أساس إنه هم had a doubt. Isn't this now the idea that we did not vote for a nation with these so-called South Sudanese? Isn't that by itself can play a role in legitimizing Equatoria to be an independent nation, in your opinion? Well, I think I will throw this question to you too, CJ. للناس اللي ما vote, this is general question. It's not necessarily have to be scientifically, approved or, kind of like, accepted by others. But I'm just saying in opinions of anyone. Just look at it in another way, up out of the box. الناس اللي ما vote for South Sudan. قول okay, imagine بس قول Equatoria كله ما voted for South Sudan. Okay? Because right now Dinka قال يا أخي إحنا جنوبيين لازم نقعد سوا إحنا for unity, all this nonsense. Okay. قول بس Equatorian رفضوا يفوت. Majority الناس اللي vote it's Dinka and then people in Upper Nile, even يمكن بحر الغزال. Then doesn't that give Equatoria, does it not help that Equatorian to be a sovereign entity, to come up and say yes we can be independent? Do you think it can help in that point, in your own opinion?
Definitely.
Okay, you come up, CJ. Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely,
In what
it
way?
will give us legitimacy of becoming an independent nation, as Equatoria. Equatoria, we would have our own country, that whereby we can live outside South Sudan, we can go back to being Equatorial nation.
And what makes you confident on that idea, that because you didn't vote for South Sudan and you're an Equatorian, you will actually succeed on the idea? I'm just saying hypothetically. I know the answers, but I'm just saying we have to kind of like let the people also ask themselves this question.
Here's the deal. Here's the point. Here's the point. If we can interject,
Okay,
imagine, people were upset of Khartoum kind of systems, the way how they were treating Southerners as a whole, be it Dinka or anyone so far of that. So people are totally upset, particularly with the Islamic laws, that kept on chopping people's hands and all that kind of things.
I don't disagree on that. Sharia,
religiously, that's why people were really eager to get out by all means possible, at least, under the basis that, they are going to have peace and stability.
But
that
I'm just saying,
imagine, and look out, and the right to govern themselves, and be like free, with free sovereignty, and will have all that privileges of, becoming president, becoming ambassadors and all that, representatives and all that. That was the intention of most of the people, leave alone that, people are upset by the time during the 7 years time, this 6 years period, the interim period, people are not happy. They just wanted to get out by all means possible. That was there. Yet, for the few, probably, it could be few numbers who are really very, very serious. They figured it out that, this is going to be a bomb. That's going to be a fire.
They all probably, those who thought.
So this will not look out. Yeah.
To the point of are we able to get, because of that we can get away.
Yeah. This cannot be a point of, of saying that you wanted to go alone. But, Equatoria by then, under worse condition, they would have called for what? For self-autonomy in the state of federal system. Imagine federal system has been a sound tape, along 1956 until 2005. Jalaba wouldn't bear about it, wouldn't care. They wouldn't implement it.
انت فهمتني انا قاصد شنو؟ انا
انا
اوكي
فهمت
بس
انا
في حاجه
فهمت
انا قاعد اقول ده يعني
لا ما بيكون.
اعتقاد لانه ما ننسى اتخيل بس انت بتعرف لما زول بيقول انا بمتنع عن التصويت، وطبعا ده في دول عملوا حاجات ده مثلا في
لا انت عندك الحق، عندك الحق انك
بمتنع
تمتنع،
عن
ما
التصويت
مشكله.
بمعنى تاني كان انا
لا
امتنعت
يا
عن التصويت وانا صاحب الارض. انا مثلا احنا مجموعه حله كلنا اتعرضنا على المشروع اللي جينا يعملوه في حله ده، اوكي نخط ده كمثل. There is somebody trying to take the whole neighborhood. في حلة جنبنا كله شالوه، قال خلاص حلة ده كله دخل تحت رعاية تاع زول البيزنس مان هنا ده ريتش مان ده. يلا انتوا حلة ده رافضين، يعني قول إيكاتوريا حلة ده. بس imagine يعني من تخيلات بس قول يعني معظم الناس اللي ما صوتوا استوائيين، اوكي. وهسه استواء
ما
اليوم
انت لما تقول كده اوريك انا، انت لما تقول كده في ناس جهله هناك، في ناس جهله
انا
في
فاهم.
الميديا. اوريك انا، لحظه
انا
لحظه لحظه لحظه، ما تخلط الاوراق، ما تخلط الاوراق،
انا
خلي
ما
تقول
قلت
انا احكي بالك. نو
ما
ما تخلط، ما تخلط الاوراق.
لسه بس خلينا finish a point عشان
No,
نقدر
no, 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 never at all. No. Be
انا ما
careful. تعرف كيف people misinterpret it. You know, understand? ما في حاجه بالشكل ده
ما
بيحصل،
انا
لانه
فهمت
انا قلت
اوكي.
لك
انا بس انا
people
قاعد
were
اقول
all
لك
upset
لا
when عاوزين يطلعوا برا من حاجه اسمه شمال السودان. That's it. How...
اوكي انا ما قاعد نفسر في حاجه مهم جدا تفهمه هنا.
Yeah, you better get to
لا
that
يبقى
point.
ممكن ده
لكن ما
احتلال
تدي اسمك انه مثلا
اوكي
كذا. No.
انا عندنا نقول شيء ده احتلال بنفسه. كان انتم ما رفضتوا، انتم ما مقتنعين، ما انا قبل قاعد نفسر قلنا الحركه الشعبيه هم جا سيطروا على اللعبه، عملوا قال يا اخي احكم يا شعب قرروا مصيركم. استوائيين حسوا في خطر هنا، هم شايفين في خطوره في الكلام ده. الحركه الشعبيه ما قاعد يكون يا زي انت شايف القصص القضايا اللي تكلمناها ده. الحركه الشعبيه اولا هو كان قاعد يكون بنو استوائيين الابيوز ريب ميردر وحاجات كتير يا اساس زي استوائيين قاعد يشتكوا اليوم احنا بقينا
ما
دوله.
انا عاوز اوريك انا
أنا قلت انه
الديكتاتوريا. اوريك انا لحظه، اسمعني انا كويس.
انت ما فهمت.
الديكتاتوريا كان عنده قوه عسكريه. لحظه، الديكتاتوريا كان عنده قوه عسكريه موجود بقياده بتاعت كلام واني، كان عنده قوه عسكريه. ناهيك عن كده في مجموعات ناس كان اللي هو تابعين للحركه الشعبيه ذاته بتاعت جرن ده، بعدين كده حركه بعدين كده كان في ايكاتوريان في الوسط بتاعهم. So Equatoria, they were fully
انا
most of
ما قاعد
بتاع
ندي
منهم
فيكتوريا was
هم
part of
تراس انه شنو look out along the way انه okay they will take their seat. That is what it
I
is.
understand وهم voted. انا
Yeah.
ما قلت ايكوتوريا ما
Yeah.
voted. I'm just saying hypothetically بمعنى تاني
No,
افتراضا لانه
don't use that.
الجهل ده
Look out.
يقولوا ما listen الجاهل فيه يقولوا ده يقولوا، لكن انت لما تيجي تواجههم you can stop them there say hey ده كان حاجه افتراضي، كلمه افتراضيه. انت رجعت في التصويت تيجي تلقى اكثريه الاستوائيين كانوا صوتوا على الانفصال. فانا ما قاعد ننكر انه استوائيين ما
انا
صوتوا
عاوزك تخط الصيغه،
على
بطريقه اخر، خط
اوكي
الصيغه بتاعت السؤال بطريقه اخر اهون. لانه ما
اوكي
تنسى ان عندنا 80%. اوريك انا عندنا 80% ناس جهله. يعني عندنا نسبه الجهل في وسطنا بسبب الحروبات اللي احنا قاعدين نازل، كله ما عندهم تعليم.
اوكي
انت
انا
لما تدي كده الترجمه بكون خطا.
اوكي
بليز.
انا فهمتك. هسه خليني ارجع بس كلام تاعي retract my word. I'm going back to this question هنا. تخيل مثلا استوائيين لما شافوا حاجات دي كلها اللي كانت تتكلموا عنه، انه يعني الحركه الشعبيه لما جو وقعوا ورا اتفاقيه السلام كان هو بين معارضه والاداره الغير شرعي كمان عمر البشير اللي جاب انقلاب ده. هم قعدوا عشان يقدر شنو يتفقوا لحل مشكله جنوب السودان وشمال السودان او المعارضه الجنوبيه، وطبعا في معارضات شماليه كلهم. المهم معارضه كله قاعد يعمل تأجيج في تدمير السودان بكامله. لكن الجنوبيين كان عندهم legitimate case to carry to the international community. احنا مضطهدين على الدين وعلى العرق. We are being persecuted for our ethnicity and religion. So that gave them the power to come up and rise as a nation, to make a decision for being an independent. Okay. Going back to that, based on that thing, الحركة الشعبية ما أدى فرصة لباقي قبائل تاع جنوب السودان كله، لأنه الحركة الشعبية هو قاعد يقولوا قاعد يمثل جنوبيين، لكن في الحقيقة ما قاعد يمثل جنوبيين، كلنا عارفين هو قاعد يمثل قبيلة طائفة معينة أو قبيلة معينة على أساس هم دايرين يدوا القوة والسيطرة للقبيلة ده، وفعلا نجحوا. لأنه شنو استوائيين ما قدروا you stop these guys in their place. Say, hey, احنا جزء من هذا. انت قلت هسه كليمن كان جزء كبير من الناس الفورسز الاستوائيين، وعندك في other Equatorians اللي كانوا حتى دخلوا مع حركه الشعبيه، لكن هم ما شدوا حيلهم عشان يتكلموا انه I will not sign a people. انا عندي كيان بنفسي، انا هنا the region. يعني زي اللي حصل في لبنان. اللبنانيين كان عملوا الدكسه بتاع ايكواتوريان اليوم، كان مسلمين بتاع السنه الشيعه فلسطينيين كله كان دمروا مسيحيين في لبنان، كان ما في مسيحي تلقاه في لبنان. But what did they do؟ المسيحيين في لبنان هم قعدوا في ترابيزه equal، زي انت قاعد تقول كل يوم احنا كان نقعد في مفاوضات لازم نكون equal. بمعنى انا قاعد نمثل طرف بتاعي انا جاي منه، انا ما قاعد نمثل ناس كله لانه انا ما بعرف.
Please,
احنا
can you
بنعرف.
speak in English? You better
Okay.
speak in English, so that the others will
Okay.
get it too.
Like,
لأنه حديث
yeah.
هنا, don't
Okay.
forget.
Okay. حداثه.
أنا قاعد أفهم قاعد يقول شنو
Yeah.
understand.
The guy
Okay,
is
good,
like,
thank you.
the
If
Lebanese.
you can understand, that's good.
Okay, hold on. When Lebanese came to power, like when Lebanese ended the sectarian war or this Harb al-Ta'ifi في Lebanon,
Yeah.
they ended it based on always they have to have a mutual agreement. Mutual agreement based on what? Everybody know his place, everybody represent his place, and everyone will share. Every part will share this new government, new form government of Lebanon. Okay, what did they do? They sat down. The Christians sat in their table as Christians. They didn't say, I'm fighting for Lebanon. They say, I'm fighting for my people. You know, Abu Layla, are you got a problem with me, man? This guy is
What's
funny.
happening?
No, never mind. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Asma, لو عندك issue, my brother, coming down here, I want to see what you're trying to say because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, حاجة اللي أنا عاوز أقوله there's
Listen,
one thing I have.
عشان كده زي ما انت قلت يا CJ كان ناس متعلمين is true. They will be
Yeah,
confused.
exactly. You got it.
But I
You got
put
it.
it in a point clearly. انه اتخيل يعني خد لما استوائين كان لاحظوا كان الاخطاء يا اخوي ابو ليلى، وانا بتمنى تيجي هنا عشان تيجي تقول لي كلامك انت قاعد تقوله ده because I have no problem with you but you're saying something that I don't even get it because it عندك كانه like something saying that I'm confusing. Go study. What do you
هم لاحظوا like
It's okay. It's okay. This is just
hold
gonna.
on.
This is gonna change the topic.
Hold on.
Yes.
لو انت قاعد تقول لي study history في كتوريا انا قاعد نشوف، انا هسه قاعد نشوف انتوا عملتوا شنو all these years you guys sitting down
don't mind about your
hold
كلام
on supporting Dinka, supporting SPLM, knowing SPLM killing and raping and murdering your people, and you want to tell me that انا ما بعرف history بتاع Equatoria? Is
no
Dinka part of Equatoria? I'm just asking.
no كلام بتاعك سؤالك logic.
No, like the way he's trying to say that I don't know the history. Don't tell me I don't know history. فلسطيني بيقدر يقعد في أي بلد تاعه، في أي بلد تاني بيقدر يعرف history تاعه. What I'm trying to
history
say
today actually look out let me answer him let me answer him.
hold on. أنا بدي نجاوب هنا.
history today تعرف كيف بيتكتب history today بيقراوا من الكتب يا أخويا، ما عاد حاجة شنو بعدين شنو to know history في مصادر مثلا there are many sources many sources. The witnesses can be a source and those who are the writers, those who are and observers and analysts حاجات دي كله combined. So انت في بيت بتاعك الليله
أنا بس ما
what are you doing?
I don't want to prolong this, but أنا نقول حاجة.
I just wanted to say. Could I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to say this. Right now, we're not sitting down for history. We're just talking different topics regarding South Sudan. And when we're talking about the failure of what's happening, we're not referring back to talk about the history, who came first, the people, which kind of people came first existing in South Sudan and Munudak. That's not the concern that we're going on about. So right now, the history of South Sudan or the history of Sudan,
right now.
It's not really helpful to this situation. We're now talking resolving conflicts and stuff that is happening. So it doesn't refer back to history. So let's just move on. Yeah.
أنا بس نقول لبنان مسيحيين من قعدوا تحت. If you don't know, I was in Lebanon and I know what Lebanese did. Lebanese, they sat down. Christians, Druze, Shia, Sunna, all these people came together and said because they knew the problem will not end if they continue fighting just who's going to gain the power. They decided that we will share the power based on Christian will be the prime minister or the president, and then the other one will be the prime minister. So there is two president in Lebanon, okay, and then the Sunni will be, or the Shia will be the what they call the Speaker of the House, on the essence that we are sharing power. And then you will have parliamentarian. They will all vote whoever they want to vote for, as long as it's going to be a political. So the system was very organized, and Lebanon did manage. But guess what happened? Lebanese people, because they put their trust in their leaders based on the sectarian leaders, now today Lebanese are crying, say that those sectarian leaders are using them instead of protecting them and giving them their right. Al-Masihin bishtaku. Christians are complaining. The Sunni are complaining. The Druze are complaining. At the end, that's why they made a revolt, because the economy, because they found out there is a corruption within that, and people began to make it as a, what they call it, that word, يعني بقى حكومة عائلية. Nobody wanted to get out of the power, so it became what that word, nepotism. They use nepotism within that party. So what I'm trying to say here, and it's with all due respect to you, Abu Layla, you have to understand. You can tell me I'm confusing people in history, whatever. Listen, I have lived outside in foreign lands, but still, my heart belongs to Equatorial land, and I will always go fight for it. It doesn't matter if I know it or not. Most of the South Sudanese, they don't even know history of South Sudan. Because if you know the history, you would not be today fighting each other, killing each other for nonsense. Today we see.
He misunderstood that. He misunderstood that. It's not about history.
Yeah.
It was me who interject, and says, don't say that, don't put it that way, because the more you put it that way, there are some mad guys over there who will misinterpret it. They will just put it their way. Which is wrong. That's why it was just only the sentence that I'm rejecting. اللي هو العباره. انا قاعد اعارض الرجل ده اتيكا بخصوص العباره وليس تاريخ. المساله مش تاريخ. عاوز يجيب صيغه عشان يحط هنا، يكون مثلا يدي سؤال. هذا السؤال عارف كيف في ناس بيترجموها خطا. يعني ممكن السؤال انا ممكن استقبله وانا ممكن ادي الاجابه عليه، لكن انا ما داير انه يمشي على الهوى، وفي النهايه عارف كيف الناس يسيئوا الفهم. يعني ياما في ناس بيكتبوا بيفهموا شيء غلط وبيحاولوا يجعلوها حقيقه. انا قلت شيء مثل ويقعدوا انه زول اللي قال الحقيقه، قال الكلام الحقيقه، وانا برجع الكلام ده لانه شنو نسبه الاميه في الوسط بتاعنا، في وسط اهلنا، بحكم يعني مش فخرا لكن بحكم المعاناه اللي قاعد نلقاه من حروبات وحرب. يعني تخيل مننا قاعد مشاكل من 200 من 1905 اللي هو من كم؟ من 1898 يعني حوالي قرن وشويه، 120 سنه انك قاعدين في حرب لحد 2005 على بال ما حسبناه هناك. فده كان الموضوع، دي كان موضوع بتاع تاريخ يا اخي ابو ليلى. يعني الموضوع ما كان تاريخ بنتكلم عنه.
Let's go ahead.
عباره كان خطا. انا عاوز شنو هذه العباره ما يخطها بهذه الصيغه، هذه الصيغه حيترجم خطا. ده الخوف بتاعي انا. لذلك انا بتحفظ. Thank you.
I apologize though I gone out of line,
Right. No,
you haven't gone any out of line.
No, بس أنا قاعد بقول yeah. But what I'm trying to say is in my point هنا إحنا نفهم حاجة. قضيتنا قضية كبيرة. أنا قاعد نرجع للخطأ لأن إحنا عملنا independent. هسه في ناس
كرر سؤال ثاني، أدي سؤال ثاني، كرر سؤال ثاني.
أنا برجع كلامي. أنا قلت بس كلام أنا نقوله إنه that independent تاع South Sudan لما حصلت شنو اللي جاب الخطأ؟ وين الخطأ؟ يعني what went wrong with this independence؟ أنا حتى اليوم الناس يقولوا يا ويلي يا ريت أنا كان ما صوتت. I wish I never voted for this nation because they saw the mistake that is happening. But some people knew about they like يعني في طرق يعني حاجات قاعد يوري قاعد يشير إشارات. There was signs saying that this thing is going to be like that, but they ignored that sign. أنا متذكرين حتى كلامك سألتك قبل شوي قلت هل الجنوبيين كلهم عملوا ديبيت في أستراليا؟ أنا متذكر حتى في أمريكا الناس يعمل only في ولاية بتاع نيبراسكا إحنا سمينا إنه الناس عملوا ديبيت لما خطوه في اسمه شنو ده في يوتيوب، لكن الديبيت كان محدودة على ناس الكل مؤمنين بالانفصال، وديل كمان كان جايين ببرنامج بتاعهم خاص هم كنوير بكل احترامي لهم هنا ده كحركة شعبية، لكن ما جو كمواطنين عاديين قال عشان نيجي نتكلم في الموضوع ده ونسأل هل طريق ده بديل. ما في منهم قادر يجيب كده كلام accurate انه انفصال ده بدينا لقدام، بس هم قال يا اخوان لانه هم ركزوا على الشريعة ده as if they are the issue.
الراجل ذاته كان بيأيد مع دكتور واني كامبي تتذكر
Brother
في
Abu
المنصة.
Layla, hold on. Abu Layla, if you have anything, come up, please, and face me and tell me
أنت
what
سمعتني؟
your problem is.
أنت
Say wise if you have like don't mix words. It's not good. I mean, I have all respect to you, but just come
Um,
up if you don't mind, because I want to understand your point here. Because you can write. Please use wise words to convince people. I'm not here to convince you, brother. If you don't, you're not convinced with what I say. You go ahead, do whatever you want. But what I'm telling you here, إحنا كشعب جايين هنا نتكلم حاجة اللي الناس قاعدين يحسبوه. If you don't feel it, don't tell me it's about conviction. Already الناس قاعدين يطردوهم. انتوا هنا قاعدين تتكلموا جنوب السودان جنوب السودان. انت بتقول لنا احنا يكتبنا فينا rule dinka. It's like why I want to rule them. Like let's not go far, bro. If you got anything, you can
أي.
come up here. It's annoying
Alright,
for me to
okay.
see somebody, talking nonsense like that. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Again,
leave it over
let's
there.
go forward.
What I want to say is that إنه شنو تعرف كيف
Abu Layla, do you wanna come? Do you wanna come up here to say what you wanna say, or please, can you allow us just to continue to finish the program? Or if you
Go
Yeah.
want,
ahead.
you can come and
Yeah,
be part
please.
of the program.
Yeah,
Just
is that
kindly
a man
come
that anything to say? It's not about me. Can it
in
end
a
up
possible
mushkila mine?
kindly way.
I'm, I'm not. My word is not important to it.
أتيكا look out guys.
Hold on, CJ, best أنا أقول كان أنت ما convince my, you can challenge me and I'm not having any problem. You can even be the one who can be the voice for anyone you want. But what I'm seeing anybody here sitting down قاعدين quiet قال لا ما تكلم كده بيجيب مشكلة ما تكلم كده. Okay, then tell me what's the best way. لأن أنا نتفرج عليكم. We have been
No,
watching. أنا one time I can
I'm
actually do
sorry.
this.
Like Erika,
I can actually say, you know
I'm
what, it's a
sorry.
good
I
idea
know,
to annoy
like.
everybody. I can just leave. I
No,
can
no,
leave
don't.
and
You're
just
not
let
leaving.
everybody
You're
go.
not leaving. You're not leaving. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
that
I'm
he
just,
kept
I'm just
doing that.
annoyed by somebody who don't want to understand what I'm saying. Because I don't mind the disrespect to anyone, but I'm just saying we're talking here about haja اللي قد يحصل. انتوا كنتوا وين? I'm
It
asking
is
you.
true.
How are you
It is
guys?
true.
انتوا
لا
كنتوا
في أخطاء
قاعدين
كبير
تخرجوا
جدا
اخلاق
جدا
لحد
كانت حصلت.
هسه انتوا لسه بعدين to point the wrong so you can fix the wrong. لكن انت تيجي
That is
تناقض
true.
الزول اللي بيتكلم عن
That is
الwrong
true.
ده تقول لا
That
انا
is true.
غلطان. Then tell me how am I wrong so I can stop talking about Equatoria, about anything, and now I'll let you guys who know better than me about history, you can go ahead and teach our people history. انا بقعد هنا اتفرج عليكم because I really
No,
sick of
he can just start it somewhere. He can start a forum, and then he can just begin to teach the history of Equatoria if you want. Like that's if that's what he wants. But I'm just saying that in a very possible kind way that this is not really a nice way as we as grown people. Like if you look at even in the age that where we are, that we keep attacking each other. Can Zola in Zolfi line, and then you just want to come and attack, or we keep exchanging bad words. It's really not helpful, really. It's not good for us Equatorians. And at the same
هو
time, we say that we want to unite. And then if somebody's not happy with somebody, so you kind of like ignite a fight and ending fight
that is
and
true.
challenges that is not really making sense.
That
I'm
is
just
true. That is
urging
true.
that please let this stop.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna ask a question again, Hadassah, for you being a believer in a separation today of Equatoria.
Hmm.
What do you think is the difference between the separation of South Sudan, based on you not believing in that when we became a nation of South Sudan, and today, you are now advocate of separation of Equatoria to be independent from not, just being independent or reclaiming our rights or our independent back from South Sudan and from the whole Sudan in general.
Sorry, it was echoing, it was cutting. Can you just
I
re-say it
said,
again?
what made you now, because you said
Hmm.
before when the South Sudan thing,
What do you
you're
think?
not
What do you
believing.
think about about
Yeah.
separation
Now you are
of South
you believe in
Sudan?
separation. Yeah. What made you go to that idea? What convinced you on the idea of Equatoria can be a nation and have to reclaim their own independence or separate from South? What convinced you?
Okay. The reason why I joined the idea of separation is because of firstly, the sufferings that I see my people suffering in Equatoria, the uh, war that is happening, political and tribal war that is happening in South Sudan right now. And secondly, we Equatoria were not really like considered to be as South Sudanese. And this in itself tells me that I'm not really convinced me completely that I'm not South Sudanese. And then I realized to come back to realize that in to begin with, Equatoria was not even South Sudan. You know, I don't see the reason why today when we say that we're going for separation and people acting like they're shocked, and some few numbers of Equatorians, 5 or 6, coming up against us and saying that we cannot separate, we cannot do this, but knowing that we are not even South Sudan to begin with, that really convinced me totally that this is the reason why we were being mistreated in South Sudan, and we were told we are not South Sudanese, because the fact that we are Equatorians and we have our own nation called Equatoria. So, and also looking into the way that the regime and the regime in South Sudan is going, that they're never going to have peace. Like, they're not going to stabilize the country. There's going to be an ending war, tribal wars, and you know, whatever is happening is happening. Sorry, I'm just kind of like worked out
Yeah,
now
we're good.
with what is happening, these attacks that is happening now. I'm running out of what to say.
It's
So
too much.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So
No,
yeah,
another way,
basically this
another
is
way,
like
another way probably I can put it this way, that the ongoing situation in South Sudan, it's not going to have a good end at all. Other than others are going to Equatoria others may get lose. We may lose it. That's why we don't want that. So separations would be the best
but
idea, particularly
yes.
as I used to say, the one thing that I used to stand with is the separations is not our idea, other than it has been imposed on us. It is something, when you're cornered, when somebody comes to your house, the first thing you have to do, move the guy out, and then think about, when you get your home back, then think about the next step. That would have been the issue. With our situations, with all these accumulations of issues, conflicts of issues since 2005 to the independence, and then up to this day, that means this thing has been set up. It has been a setup. Imagine somebody, coming to agree with you and says, okay, let us fight together. The guy intention was to liberate Sudan, all right? While he was for Equatoria, when you say, by the time when you say South Sudan, they used to go after you. They have killed people because of South Sudan. For those, during that SPLA time under Garang, they have killed many people who always goes parallel with them. People have died because of South Sudan. Today we are in South Sudan, yet they didn't reach to liberate Sudan. So why are you disturbing us?
Yeah.
What they were doing.
I think also the other thing, sorry if I can add on it, is like, it's almost like what you said earlier, CJ, that it's the goal is actually, I think I even mentioned this before, the goal is actually it's not actually technically, like, even the Dinkas and the rest of the people, they want to separate. Really, they're not serious about separation. I think I felt like the separation is like to totally
Thank you.
take Equatoria and make us lose Equatoria completely and lose our identity. And also, it's not only for that, but only to like
المصالح عندهم مصالح أو عندهم
yeah, and also the
they have a
extinction
purpose.
of Equatoria. We're gonna be extinct. I don't know what's the word. It's like they just wanted to.
انقراض.
Yeah, so they wanted to extend us from Equatoria. So little by little, as you see, like they chasing us out, killing us. So before we know, we don't have a home. We don't even exist. So at the end of the day, South Sudan will return back with Sudan. It's just the whole game is just for us, to get Equatorians out of the picture, and then get back the land together with Sudan.
Excellent. Put it back to Khartoum. Yeah.
Put it back. Join it back
that
to
is
Khartoum.
Exactly. Yeah.
But do it at any cost. Do it at any cost, whether you have to extinct them or whether you have to, like displace them or eliminate them out of the land. Do it at any cost. But whatever
Here's the point. You remind me something very strong. Remind me something very important. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
If you can I? Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. What I want to say is that, there seems to be a game between those Jalaba, and the Dinkas, particularly the Dinkas, and, the Dinkas, leave alone the Nuer as well. But, Dinkas, let's go to the Dinka. I believe, I assume that, there's a deal. There is something that those people might have talked about it. Imagine this kid was from time to time used to go to Khartoum back and forth. You understand? There is one thing. When he was once asked, what was this separation? He says, no, this is just a political separation. ده عملية سياسية بس. ده تقسيم سياسي. You understand? That means, if at all, in a military term, if there is a double agent, then Dinka today is a double agent بتاع جلابة. Remember, today, women في جنوب Sudan, they're a double agent بتاع جلابة. Like I used to say every day, Dinka are looking toward north, Mogadishu toward Sudan. That is the intention. So that's very much, the guy is now playing the agent's role. Those guys are playing the agent role to get rid of the Equatoria and take the land back. Because, if you look to this independence, to how we come to this independence, it was through a friendly power. You understand? A big man. It was through those alliance of Troika that brought us to this independence. Miraculously, by God's will, according to God, the use of the good Samaritans. That is exactly what it is. Something that we wouldn't have dreamed about, but it happens. So that's why now they're using those people as a means to get there, to get to their goals. That means, because this land is rich, you shouldn't give it back to the Equatorians. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So those people they are now playing double agents role. So what do you do with such kind of individuals? That's the question.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you do mostly? Is Atika there?
Yeah, I think it's there. Maybe probably network or something.
Yeah. What do you do mostly with a double agent? Somebody who's double agents, pretend to be a friend or brother or a countryman. Then you could see him playing that kind of tactics. Yeah,
that's true.
that is what is going on. So imagine if you look to the country today, now they began to sell, the houses. Imagine you have those the merchants inside the country, the trades. The economic has been held by what? Imagine who would imagine.
Basically, they're playing like Judas Iscariot. It's like doesn't matter where his salvation gonna be, where he's gonna live. Either way, he's just like selling the Messiah out. They don't even care whether it's like at the end of the day, the North Sudan is gonna take even plus their properties plus their country. They don't care. That's why they're not developing even their states.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Imagine.
That's why
imagine
they don't
do
that. Because they
Go ahead. Sorry, I got that commission. Taban timing.
Juba Bridge. Imagine that bridge. It is supposed to be a cement by now, or anything else. Yet it remains as it is since 1972. How could you believe that? If we really have, if that country is really independent, if Equatoria were to hold that country, what do you expect? That country would have been different today.
أنا بس نقاطعك. في حاجة مهم داير نقوله لأن أنا كنت جاي talk. I sent you a copy of this guy. I think he's a professor in political science, and he's a South Sudanese, I think from Bahr al-Ghazal, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Samson S. Wasara.
Is that here?
No, in England, I think. But anyway, this is what he's talking about, and I kind of like. There is some points I agree with him. Talking about the independent, because he's actually talking about the independent of South Sudan, and he really kind of like put it in a very bleak and look. Like he showed it that this place, South Sudan, they took the independence prematurely. That's exactly what he described it. And I wanted to read this paragraph when he said, the state was born prematurely into a conflict society where fragility is manifested through multiple challenges, Although the emerging state fulfilled a declarative requirement of a state in international law, the tools needed to be built a sovereign state were lacking, and South Sudan descended rapidly into another civil war and disorder. The one civil war I disagree with that because it's not a civil war. It's two tribal groups who are fighting for power to dominate the other tribes. That's what I can say. I can attest to that because look at today who is in the main head of this, like who's the one leading this crisis in South Sudan. It is two tribes, and we always say that because you could see it in your eyes. You know, like those two tribes join hand together, ignore the rest, those who fight beside them, and say, okay, let us, Dinka and Nuer, take over. We will rule the country. And they did. They did stay in honeymoon, what do you call honeymoon at that time in power. And some of these weaklings, if it was Equatorians or Bahr al Ghazalian or any other tribe, non Dinka and Nuer, they, at the end, instead of standing together, coming together and stood up, they, at the end, they submitted to this regime, knowing that this regime is going to send them to hell for it. But they ignored the truth. They did not because everybody was looking for themselves. كيف يقدر ياكل يملى بطنه, everybody want to feed themselves and how to get a position and say انا كنت وزير سابق وكده حاجات ديل. فممكن واحدين اللي كان عرضوا يا زي لما اقول لك again رضخ, he came back and accepted South Sudan to be a nation, even though he tried to disagree with it. The only person that stood his ground was Wani Tombe, rest his soul. That man, I give him the most respect because the man really stood his ground in the end. And at the end,
prematurely, Galu South Sudan was born prematurely. I disagree with that point.
hold on. Let me tell you who قاصد شنو. ما عشان تفهم أنا الكلام ده.
أنا فهمان هو قاصد شنو.
Prematurely بمعنى هو prematurely into account. Okay. It was born in a يعني السوسايتي بنفسه ما عارفين حالهم وين ماشيين. لأنه إذا كان لاحظت نادون بس قال صوت. هل ده طريقة الناس mature لما يقول لك صوت مفترض يسأل أسئلة. ليه أنا بصوت صح؟ For what? Before you come and tell me صوت. مش عشان لأنه قاعدين يقتلونا مع شمالين وهناك عندنا حاجة اسمه شريعة إسلامية. لكن السبب الأساسي أنا بصوت دياته حاجة ذاته اللي بديني وأنت منو عشان لما أنا صوتت السؤال اللي بيسأل نفسه after I vote what next؟ ما هو النكست سؤال؟ يعني أنت لازم تكون لك أسئلة ما تقعد بس تشوف بس يقول لك أمشي يمين زي خروف ويدوك هناك ده ماشي في النهاية بتاعك. This is today what happened in South Sudan وإيكاتوريا هسه قاعدين في الثمن. The same mistake ده في 2010 إيكاتوريا ما فهموها جينا عدناه تاني لما نوير ودينكا شاكلوا إيكاتوريين كله دخلوا في حاجة اسمه آيو. Tell me if I'm wrong there because إيكاتوريين كانوا عارفين الخطأ بتاع دينكا ونوير قاعد يعمل شنو. دينكا عمل قتل في نوير instead of the Equatorian stand on the side and say hold on that violation Mr. whatever your name وانت نوير ما تمشي تعمل انتقام. What did they do? Some of these who supported Nuer say yeah نوير عندهم حق يقتلوا. أنا سمين أنا بنقول yeah they can kill. أنا قلت له this is crime against humanity. To another tribe to kill another tribe بس لأنه ده انتقام. That's not called a country of law or justice. ده بيقولوا بقى ده ناس عايشين زي حيوانات. Because
okay, here's the deal.
Equatorian today, imagine Equatorian today. How many Dinka got kill Equatorian? Did Equatorian went to the villages that Dinka مش عملوا massacre?
No.
Because Equatorian they think. المشكلة Equatorian قد ما هم قاعدين يقولوا هم understanding and knowledgeable. نيجي نلقى Equatorian انقسموا الاثنين. تاني قال لا راح كان نقعد for unity while this guy is killing you day and night, not giving you even a chance to breathe. And the other say let's separate. Let's run away from this. It's not a runaway zato. It's only to isolate ourselves from a problem. احنا عاوزين build a future. ما عاوزين build future بتاع ناس مجانين قتلة ناس اللي عايشين على violence على ما بيعرف حتى السياسة. لأنه today look at South Sudan تركيبة بتاع حكومة ده. هل ده حكومة؟ الناس ما بيعرفوا حتى السياسة اقتصاد وين. ما بيعرفوا حتى البنى التحتية شنو. حتى النظم الأساسي بتاع القانون ما بيعرفوا. كل زول بس هناك ده الجنرال. حتى الجيش النظام العسكري they don't even know. كل زول بيجي بميليشيا بقدرات دبورة قال أنا كنت جنرال. Imagine حتى كان embarrassing لما خواجات قال South Sudan got more generals than China. As a mark, marking this.
قالوا كمان بيمشي بيشتروا من سوق قطع بس يلا قطع بديل ترزي بس ترزي.
When they tell you that you need to wake up. كان انت Equatorian كان قال لك انت جنرال اجدى دبورة دبارة قول له سوري أنا كنت جنرال سابق بتاع شمال السودان. انت كان في شمال السودان is better. at least في ناس فعلا دخلوا في شمال السودان قاعدهم دبوره حتى لو الضابط شفته كان كابتن ذاته is better to be a general في جنوب السودان لان ده embarrassment لما يقول لك انت جنرال تكون جنرال في جنوب السودان لكن في ناس ما قاعدين see that and then they get offended and then they wanted to look at you انت قاعد تقول حق بتاعك كإيكاتوريان stand up right now. الخطأ الثاني اللي جاء في شكل تنوير دينكا brought this independent South Sudan in question. ده نفس السؤال اللي كان في ناس سألوا هم notice some sign قال يا جماعة جنوب السودان is not able to run themselves. عشان كده في ناس قالوا this is prematurely for these people to lead themselves لأنه what they call those bodies or those characters اللي قاعد represent قال جنوبيين هم ما مؤهلين. Today you can see them. اليوم تلقى الشخصيات ده كله بيجروا يمين وشمال بكره معارض بكره جوا بكره معارض بكره جوا. It's a joke.
أنا أوريك حاجة واحد في زمن بتاع نميري تعرف يعني الخطأ هنا في وضع وين you know when you say prematurely بالنسبة لي according to my definition the way how I define عارف كيف premature أنا premature أنا ما مكتمل أساسا
ما مكتمل صح
حاجة أنا عاوز أقوله أو ناقص حاجة أنا عاوز أقوله referendum ده this term بتاع referendum or article بتاع referendum ده this is not an article that was being brought by SPLA. This article was there since 1972. It was brought up during Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie was there, the emperor of Ethiopia.
That's true. They were
witness. And then this article was written there, even including the language. Galushunu, South Sudan language will be English, as well as Sunday and Monday. We used to have Friday. And then by the time that's Laguja, it turns Sunday, people used to get off. And we work 6 days, and then the 7th days we will be off. That was what it happened. So there is a series of many things that was being modified. Kanjalaba gadi mashuna liano the ways, they just wanted to overcome that country. Ashanibago Islamic. So hina Hazil Bawla, it was mature. And I was a guru. Like the main issue is what? The main issue is what? That lead me to a question. هل الدولة ده كان مكتوب له لازم يفشل ولا ينجح؟ كان الفشل ده هل هو كان في يد الدنكا والنوير ولا الفشل ده كان مكتوب له انه يتم؟ So the failure of this country,
انت قلت الدولة ده mature. That's why we're gonna have another topic about this because
why do I say that? أنت قلت أنه هذه الدولة fail. We didn't fail. There are many tribes. There are 64 tribes. When two tribes fail, you can't define the country as a fail. Anama fail. It was two people. Those people, imagine in 2013, 2013 to 2015, those people term they should be taken out right away.
I think
can fail. They're supposed to,
Sorry, I think it misunderstood. The guy said the country was born prematurely. It's not the country is immature لكن حاجة دي طبعا is a debatable thing. Let's be clear, it's debatable. لأنه قاعد نتكلم في التحليل ده قلنا في حاجة حصلت الشعب ما قام. أنت مذكر أنت said this. The people did not raise. يعني الفول هسه كان الخطأ بيرجع الشعب ما قدر يسأل أسئلة. يعني أنت سألت كذلك حداثة قلت له كده ورينا هل هم عملوا ديبيت كده فورم ديبيت قاعدوا تحت كل الناس اللي قاعدين في أوروبا في أفريقيا في مخيمات قبل ما hold on a second somebody calling me. I apologize.
Hello?
I think he's on the phone. I think we can continue here.
No. Some people calling me. Just, let me stop.
Sorry.
No, okay. Yeah. So
look out. Look out. That's fine.
فهمت كلامي أنا ده نقول لك شنو? Because we have to kind of focus.
I understand what you mean, but yes, there is something that I just want to tell you. I'm a complete kalampe. What I'm saying is that you understand during Nimeri time, in 1972, when those people come to the same agreement, اللي حصل جابوا قرن عشان يكون ناقنا رئيس في جنوب مناملو هم عملوا coalition بتاع coalition government بين المتمردين اوكي بين الثوار والمتمردين والحكومه. When they did that, imagine what Nimeri did. Nimeri went on first of all وعمل شنو recruitment بتاع الجيش. He went you know ما نازل كله جابهم عشوائي وجندهم في الجيش. Are you listening to me? Nimeri didn't brought all those people to get recruited in the army.
نتكلم من ناحية داك ما ناحية داك.
لا اسمعني أنا بس hold it, let me finish up.
Okay, تفضل.
If you can allow me to finish my sentence, you'll benefit from that.
Go ahead.
What I mean is that, you know, there were some kind of things that, you know, to make the unity, تعرف كيف مثلا something that is يعني perfect, to make a perfect unity between North and South. Nimeri did play a big role to bring those rebels down. Even there, you know, they screened them. They got screened. Those who are qualified has to get there. They will be taken to the army. You know, those who are willing to get to the army. That is what Nimeri did. يعني هو عمل شنو؟ نظم الناس ديل. He didn't allow them to come in randomly بطريقة بتاع عشوائي كده إنه تعالوا خلاص انتوا عساكر. No, he didn't say that. So unlike Bashir has prepared it. You get money? He had prepared it. يعني Bashir was supposed to interfere and tell those people, imagine there was a probability of this country holding as Sudan, the entire country holding as
وقاطعك هنا ما تنسى عمر البشير في اتفاقية بتاع 2005 يختلف من اتفاقية بتاع
أنا عاوز أوريك that is what make it, you know, difficult. يعني that's why that is what make it doomed to fail. This country, that is what make it doomed to fail. That means that behind door, there were people who are working to do that thing.
Exactly.
It is not this image. It's this. ده ما وحش ده. زول الوحش هسه أنت قاعد تشوفه ده وهوش هسه قاعد تشوفهم ده. It is not those bully guys. No, it was something behind. You know, you need to think far.
أنا ما رافض كلامك. أنا بس قاعد أقول لك اختلافا من الحركة الشعبية.
لأنه كان في دول كويس كان زول فعلا هم كان عاوزوا السلام الشفاف له اليونيتي الشفاف وما شابه ذلك. كانوا ما يعملوا شنو؟ كانوا منظموا الجيش بتاع الاس بي ال دي وقالوا لهم انه تنظموا حالكم وينظموهم بطريقه صحيحه. عارف كيف؟ وبيديهم حاجات وبينظموهم بيجيبوا الشعب كمان يشكلوهم معاهم. عارف كيف؟ لانه كان بيتم هذا الصوره. لكن اساسا شمال السودان اللي هو السودان اللي انت قاعد تشوفه ده وكان النيه بتاعه انه لازم البلد ده يفشل. لو فشل بيكون لمصلحته لانه شنو؟ لما يتجهجه بكره بعد بكره ممكن العالم يقول له يا اخي شيل دوله دي خلاص.
اوكي. والله I wanted to say هنا في الموضوع ده كله انه طبعا ده حسب رايي بتاع البروفيسور ده. we're gonna tackle it and read it. طبعا he put it out there, he posted out to the international community على اساس انه this is a premature country. وزي ما انت قلت انت وضحت حاجه مهم انه الناس اللي كان وقت نميري طبعا ده وقت سابق لكن كان فعلا في نظام صحيح. يعني زول قدر يعمل حاجه اللي قال تصفيه. وطبعا لانه متمرد يعني حتى ادوا يعني كشكليه من الوعي للجنوبيين انه ما فيك تجيب زول من غابه تيجي تقول تخط
جنرال او تجيب عاوز قانون بس كانت جبت لهم قانون نازل كان ده قانون
وانا I don't disagree. انا بس قلت الناس اللي في حركه التانيا ذاك كان فعلا حركه ثوري ما كان عنده مصالح قبلي ولا عنده نوايا كان نوايا احتلال وطغيان على الباقين. They were very clear and honest. They said they're fighting for the land and for the people and they were pan-Africanists in all their ideology. حتى ناس سانو لما كان في وقت ذاك متكاتفين مع نيانيا لأنهم كانوا قاعدين يشوفوا مصلحة الجنوبيين وين. But الحركة الشعبية never thought about that. الحركة الشعبية هو أسس في تفكيك القبائل في جنوب السودان وبالأخص كان في على النيل. هو أكتر واحد كان قاعد يوزع حروب. عشان كده نوير لما شالوا سلاح بتاعهم بقى يشاكلوا دينكا ورجع الروح القبلي اللي كان موجود في الأيام القديم بتاعهم ده. عشان كده النوير والدينكا اليوم مستحيل يقدروا sit down together in table. Even today they say comprehensive peace agreement, I mean revitalized peace agreement ده كله وهم. In reality ناس بيرجعوا في حرب تاني because أنا متأكد حاجة اللي خدته في نوير like الروح اللي ناس زرعوا في جنوبين كله يعني دينكا هو بدأ أصدم البعض أصدم because Dinka supposed to understand the behavior وادري coming and taking over from other people by force, don't expect it to get to pay the price.
لكن الناس دي عندهم مصلحه مشتركه تانو ناس دي عندهم مصلحه مشتركه
انا ما رافض ما مصلحه مشتركه بتاعهم ده اتطور. it evolved. اتطور مع الوقت.
No, can you allow me to explain that point, that particular point?
I'll give you. And for my opinion, they evolve with time, because Nuer at that time, they used to say Nuer, like they have that kind of understanding that they are Southerners compared to Denkawi. Denkawi would never look at himself Southerner. He look at himself anywhere he belonged to, that's his place. Compared to Nuer, he knows that's his place, that's his Southernese. Ita kan shafa kita bas akhukat fi mushkila, he'll be there for you. That was the spirit of Nuer in the past. But Nuer during the SPLM, the Manjobi go fi harb da, and these people kill each other like crazy. Nuer have changed by time, and of course war is making difference. My own opinion and my own analysis.
Also, due to the shady games that Salva Kiir is playing, the Dinka government regime to disorganize them and to destroy them.
Oh yeah, they're trying, but guess what?
They're using money, they're using all means that they could
That's
do.
one thing I know. They will never betray their own people.
To exterminate them, to reduce them in number in order to control them, so that the Dinka can be in power. That's the politics that they're using.
Yeah. فانا بديك فرصه سيجي بس انا نقول شنو في الموضوع بتاعي ده. الكلام بتاع النميري ده لما جاب ناس قال تصفيه ده، بيكوز في ناس ما مؤهلين عشان يكونوا ضباط، في ناس ما مؤهلين عشان يكونوا عساكر، في ناس ما بيعرف يكتب ويقرا لكنهم خدموا. عندهم شنو مش كان عندهم حاجه كتعويض كده ولا يدوم حاجه ثنائي لما هم يليف ده ميليشيا ده. ويلا الناس اللي عندهم المعلومات مثلا مؤهلين مثلا هاي سكول ولا بيعرف يكتب ويقرا بيدوا شغل كده اشغال. لكن فعلا الانيانيا ما استغل الفرصه. They didn't take advantage of that. So انيانيا they had a confidence of 5 سنه ده. يعني انيانيا كله خدت هوب بتاعه في 5 سنه، و according to the agreement انه ناس نيميري هيحترم الاتفاقيه. لكن مش نيميري في النهايه قال لهم ده ما قران ولا انجيل، على اساس كاهانه للجنوبيين. بعد ما استوائيين اللي كانوا في الحركه اسمها انيانيا they really stood 100% believing under the other leaders إنه إحنا هنلقى فرصة referendum. But the guy manipulated them by using Yao's Zol Asma Abel Aliarda and other group to play the role into kind of like diffuse the حاجة اسمه self-autonomy تا جنوبين.
Excellent.
Also did not recognize that Dinka Zol قاعد built his own Dinka people. وعشان كده كوكورة جا حصل. That because the guy was.
أنا بتكلم شنو؟ أنا عاوز أوضح لك شنو؟ أنا عاوز أوضح لجمهورك.
أنا بس.
Again, I just wanted to say, in keeping with the timing, we are not in our.
Yes.
2 hours.
Yeah, بس عشان لأنه سيجي داري يقول go ahead سيجي and then we can.
Yeah, what I'm saying here is that you say those Nuer of course من Madinka من Shaha Munar, and they can get to fight anytime soon. All right. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that those people have double interest. They have double this interest. There's a game that those people are now playing. Women housing, what their main aims is women housing يفوش جماعتنا دي برا من هناك من أرض تانا، وبعدين يخشوا هناك ويتقاسموا المحل ده، وبعدين ما بيكونوا في سلام وأمن وسلام.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, هم عندهم حلم ده. تعرف they have that dreams. لأنه imagine it as a government you can't do all that kind of rubbish things. تمشي تحتل أراضي وتقول أنا ممكن أقعد في أي محل. That is nonsense. It is nonsense. First of all, what we need is law and order, security, law and order, where everybody has to be a part of it. لكن انت ما بتجي انت بنفسك تمشي تستوم تدي دينك بتاعك مع عربات وتنقل عربات وبهايم ما معروف مسروق ولا شنو انت جايب وتشيله هناك. Do you think those people are going to be silent? No, they are not going to be silent. You can do your rubbish things, but time will come when you will pay dearly. تعرف كيف انت بتدفع بيدفعوا ثمن. So that's the simple. That is the simple thing I just wanted to say. And هم نازل دي whatever شغلتهم ده ده صوري بس. It is just only a picture. اتنين ناس أزعر هم مشابهين لبعض. تعرف كيف؟ يعني imagine correlation بتاعهم هم ضربوا ناس مرلي. This tells you أنه نازل there is a time كان في مصلحة مشتركة. if there is a common a mutual interest, and then they have no doubt, to work out toward it, to gain it. Once they gain it, okay. If they get to a conflict, they can fight. That's what their nature is. That's why, and I'm saying, if there is law and order, security and law and order, those international communities that came in, people like United Nations, and imagine, NGO, all these NGOs, so those who have helped us to get that country, if they were to do their task in a proper way, they would have succeeded. Like, imagine, لو أوروبي مشى هناك، لو أمريكان مشى هناك وقال للدنكاوي عنه عمل كذا كذا، imagine الزول الأزهر بيعمل شنو؟ بقال لك لا يا أخي، لا يا أخي، أنا وكده، تعرف كيف؟ بيضايقوا. So Equatoria was supposed to step up. لما يجي الأوروبي يقول له إنه يا أخي عندنا ظلم هنا. We need equality, man. إننا في حاجة هنا ماشية غلط. So people don't report it. تعرف كيف؟ Over the time for 15 years. Imagine for the entire 15 years. If you don't talk, what do you expect? أنا بيجيك أنا؟ Can I help you? I will not be able to do anything. يعني دينك هسه لما يجي الأوروبي، أنا بذكر لما قالوا شالوا مننا واحد زول كبير كان في جيش، في بوليس، عشان يمشي يدرب جماعة ديل. By the time when the guy went there to train them, oh man, وقال ديل wild. ناس ما متعلمين، ناس ما عندهم أي، ما مؤهلات.
الكلام ده أنا سمعته من أمريكا حتى
so
في
he become يعني شنو؟
قال ناس
يعني Equatoria at that very time, did Equatoria step up and say أن هنا we are here?
Sadly not.
They are supposed to.
Equatorians are just too busy attacking each other and joining them.
Yeah, imagine. Instead, they're supposed to step up as Kanuman subdivisions, Kanuman ships, they're supposed to step up and say, Asma, you complain. And Nazdel, the way how things are going, no, we are not going to be happy. Sooner or later, we're going to be in trouble. We don't want that. Well, these things are not going perfect. We need it to be this way. They can present their paper and no, this is the way how we look. This country should be run, or this capital should be run, because the way how you can't bring some nas al katalu man haragu malakalu haragu mahalad, a bunch of civilians. You just board them and give them a uniform, and then you consider them gal de force sabele garek le masha. Today, how many army and how many army? Last time can be in a there were 2 armies. How many armies are there now in South Sudan? Nasalanu arms people, not army exactly, but arms, those who are holding arms, militias and all that. How many are they there? A bunch of them are down there. So they are the threat. Like in Equatorian, woman magadi speak, leave it. We will leave it.
عشان ما prolong. I appreciate you. طبعا في حاجات كتير هنيجي discuss it next time.
Thank you.
2 hours, unfortunately, but it's okay. 2 hours is better than being more than that. لكن طبعا a topic is to discuss the issue اللي قاعد يجرحنا. يعني the reason why we come up here is not because we wanted to say إحنا أشطر من ناس تانيين أو أنا بعرف تاريخ أو ما بعرف تاريخ. الموضوع هو قضيتنا. كأنت ما حاسب القضية ده then you don't understand. أنت ذاته ما مفترض تقول جنوبي ولا حتى ذاته تقول Equatorian. Because Equatorian right now are crying. هسه قاعدين يفتنوا Equatorian عشان kill each other. بقى نعمل لدرجة بيستغلوا the weakest among us عشان يبيعوه بقروش، عشان هو يخلي أخوانه يقتلوه يذبحوه وأخواته يغتصبوه وهو قاعد في سلطة أو قاعد في مكان مرتاح. ما عيب علينا إحنا كاستوائيين؟ إحنا ده أرضنا، ده أخواننا. It doesn't matter لو ده من أبوك وأمك، إن شاء الله ما يكون من بيت أبوك وأمك، لكننا كلنا we belong to that bloodline بتاعنا ده كله قاعد يفلو Equatoria. is in our vein. Equatoria قاعد يcry. مفترض تحسوا بألم ده. It's not about who want to be the best, who want to be liked. I don't care if you like me. To be honest with you, the last thing I worry if you can like me or not. If my family is everything to me, that's all it matters. لكن I'm looking for the future of everyone based on إحنا ليه بنقعد نكون في هجرة. Why we have to be in camps. Why we have to be abused by others. وانت عندك كل الحق عشان تكون إنسان. These people didn't respect you. Up to this moment they will never respect you. حتى لو هم قاعدين يتكلموا unity in their heart they don't know. يسوع المسيح كان بيعرف المنافقين بوضوح لأنه هو ربنا. هو كان بيجي بيقول للناس you know what those guys like الكهنة لما بيجوا كان بيتكلموا كلمات فارغ he can tell them لما حتى ودى وصل قال من ثمارهم تعرفونهم what are they thinking you know أدل الإنسان زينا عشان إحنا نقدر نعرف نحل الناس اللي من شجرة كاب ولا شجرة كويس.
Amen.
And today Equatorians are crying for our land, for our people, for our sisters, for our brothers, for our children. حتى لو ما جناك ده جناك لسه. You can't see an orphan crying, seeing his mother getting raped and his father getting killed. وإنت هنا لسه تتكلم عن unity، تتكلم عن South Sudan، أو إن منيا بيعرف تاريخ وما بيعرف تاريخ. I don't care إنت كم تعرف تاريخ. Good luck, good for you. You know about history. You know about إنت يا ذات عندك ممكن أنت ذات تكون من الناس intellectual among our community. Then come step up, take the position of leaders instead of sitting behind the scene and telling me I'm wrong. I'm not trying to criticize you, my brother. If I don't love you, I will not criticize. I will be just watching and laughing until you fall. ما العدو اليوم قاعد يضحك علينا.
It's true.
العدو اليوم قاعد يضحك علينا اننا قاعد نفرتك حالنا بطريقه تغيير وكراهيه وغضب وحاجات اللي ما بيودينا لقدام. ارضنا قاعد يشيلوا مننا يا جماعه. بناتنا قاعدين يكوركوا. وين رجالنا؟ وين
مجاملة ما
رجالنا؟
بتكون قدام.
Now when a woman cried that where is our men? It's a shame for a man to stand in and watch his woman cry like that. It doesn't matter لو ده اختك ولا مرتك ولا مرت اخوك. لكن
It's true.
don't let a woman to say that word. وين الرجال بتاعنا؟ It's ugly. It is تراب براسه. Be like an ostrich, because you know how ostrich when they are in fear they put themselves in the ground. I don't know about animals that much, but في ناس حسب اللي هم شافوا animals there they bury their head. So احنا ليه بنقعد see the wrong and yet just we need to accept it. Generation جاي كل يوم في ناس قاعدين يولدون. بس إحنا بنطلع عيال لكن ما بنقدر نعمل نكون رجال take care of our kids by building a future for them. Men supposed when they have kids, that means you need to take responsibility. Go ahead and build the future for that generation. Al-Jai Warakda. Because you don't want them to live in poverty, in hardship, in agony. You need to build a society for them. A peaceful, a safe zone that huma bigder يكونوا an impact to the next generation. Because in the dunya ده كل زول عنده شغل بتاعه. And everybody's passing through. ما زول هيستay in forever. At least let's do the right thing. Because إن كلنا عارفين جايين نكونوا في مقابر. آخر بيت بتاعنا هيكون تابوت بتاعنا في الدنيا. Everybody has their own coffin. Then why are you just trying to argue things that has no benefit for us? إحنا شايفين أهلنا قاعدين يموتوا برا. شايفين أخواتنا قاعدين يغتصبون جوا. إيانا قاعدين يسرقوا مننا. ناس بيجي بيحتلوا أرضك. وإنت هنا ما بيحترموك حتى مواطن جنوبي. خليك بقى من إكواتوريا. When we come up and speak about Equatoria, it's not because we want to say we are better than others. When we criticize our brothers, it's not because we hate them or we disrespect them. It's just because we need them to wake up and change their way. خليهم choose the right way. عشان نحن نلقى future يا جماعة. Our nation is no longer there. حاجة اسمه South Sudan, let's not dream of it. Let's focus on our land. Our people need us and we need them. ما نقولنا قاعدين في أوروبا خلاص إننا ارتحنا. ما إننا شغالين عبيد لخواجات بطريقة تانية. Indirectly we are working the slave. إنت قاعد تدفع لهم ضريبة. إنت قاعد أي حتى أكل إنت قاعد تاكله. إنت قاعد تدفع لهم. خليك بقى من زول المات. موت ده براو ده ذاته جريمة. إنت قاعد تدفع كم. هنا مقابر قاعدين يشتروا في أرض تا أوروبا. في بلدنا هناك مقابر ده مجاني. ده أرض تا أجدادك. مكرم معزز. اليوم جوبا يحتلوه. نمو بيجاي كل يوم مشاكل. إحنا بقى خلاص متعودين. يعني we're comfortable with this pain. إنت معناته ما human لو comfortable with this thing.
Never told.
So if you understand the pain of your brothers, let's think out of the box. It's not who know better and who know best and who's the smartest and who's not the smartest. It's about us doing the right thing. عامل شغلك المهم. Do your job. It's not even ذاته حرب اللي هسه إحنا قاعد نقتل بعضنا خواجة قاعد يضحك بيجيب لنا AK-47 كلاشينكوف. Kill yourself عشان إحنا نوصل. وما بتلقى واحد مننا البكرة بيكون بيقدر change the world in Africa. اللي بيقدر يغير الدنيا بتاعنا هناك، بيقدر يكونوا عباقرة. they can be scientists, they can be people who can be medical in, discoverers, like discovering أدوية جديد. هسه قاعدين يجيبوا لنا امراض كل يوم. هسه اليوم كورونا ده بقى ده حجه عشان هم يوزعوا ادويه بتاع فاكسين في افارقه، وبكره وما في زول، حتى ما في الدوله في افريقيا، يمكن جنوب افريقيا ما في دوله في افريقيا بيقدر يعمل بحث عن دواء ده، كان دواء ده هو مضر ولا هم مضر، بس بيجيبوا لنا ادويه دي تجريبيه. يلا خواجات عندهم ادويه بتاع برام، وإننا بنعرف كلام ده، لكن لسه بنقول لا والله افريقيا كان بي يونايتد. إننا بس نقعد نحلم زي قصه انا يوم ده قلته تا يابا عجوز كان ما عارف لقى زي ده كيف خطاه في قله، يا لو قاعد تحت في كرسي بتاعه بدل له يعمل مجهود عشان يقدر يبيع القله ده زي ده عشان يطلع قروش، بقى يقول والله انا كان شفت عملت كده، وانا بكره بكون دي مره جميل وانا صغير، وانا بقعد بشيل قام شال قال كان جنابي بقى الادب انا بديكوا بعصاي، وقام شال عصاي كسر الزير ده، حاجه ده كله وقع، زيت ده كله وقع. من يا لوزر هنا. He was dreaming too much until he lost everything that he had.
That is true.
بمعنى يعني انت بتؤمن انت عندك حقك، fight for it. Don't even sit and wait. Don't sit and wait عشان زول تاني بيجي بيحلوا لك. ولما نحله لازم نقيف مع بعض على اساس نوصل للحل. ولما نناقض ما نكره بعضنا لانه زول ده ناقضني، نقيف نقول ليه زول ده قاعد يناقضني لسبب معين، لانه عنده هدف داري يوريك wake up. حتى يسوع المسيح كان بقى ناس، في ناس قاعدين معاك قال جانا صغير. يسوع المسيح قال شنو؟ قال من افواه الاطفال، في كلمه كده قالوا في بايبل لما كهنه جو قال سكت ناس ديل خليهم يسكتوا، لانه ناس ديل قاعدين يقولوا قال هوسانا شنو يسوع المسيح الإناي ده ابن الملك في العالي ولا شنو كده. For these people were mad. قال why they say like this, need to shut them up. قال انا سكتهم حتى الحجر بكوري، لكن قال لانه من افواه الاطفال حقائق بيظهر. If I was that young to you guys mocking me calling me younger man، مفترض انتوا كرجال الكبار تخجلوا، بكل احترامي لكم تخجلوا. انتوا قعدتوا سنوات ده كله what did you do for us؟
Thank you.
Where did you put us؟ انتوا خدتونا بس احنا بس نعرف رقص اغاني، بكل احترامي لاخواننا التانيين حتى مريسا نساوين بايبل ده بقى بيمسكوه زي كانوا ده بقى ده الروح كانوا باراشوت بتاعك جاي تقع من طياره، لكن ما في اي فايده. I respect people who pray to God, at least I give them that respect. لكن let's wake up. Equatorial need us and we need them. لما قاعدين نتكلم عن South Sudan independence, what went wrong after this independence and why did it turn to a failed state؟ لانه في سبب. ما في ناس قاعدين يقولوا root cause. هل انت سالت ناس root cause ده شنو؟ بعدين احنا نتفلسف من بيعرف احسن ومن متعلم. احنا مفترض كلنا نقعد نسال انفسنا اسئله ده عشان نوصل للحل. احنا عاوزين الحق يظهر عشان نقدر نعرف غلط ده وين. الحركه الشعبيه كان مبنيه بطريقه ما صحيح. في كثير نتكلموا، لكن اليوم unfortunately time is running out. بس انا عاوزينكم تفهموا that unity to Equatoria does not need to be spoken. Unity to Equatoria is by action. اليوم احنا Equatorian we are united. Those who doubt we are not united they are delusional بكل احترامي لهم. وناس الكبار ده المفترض يعرفوا الكلام ده. خليهم stop that word. انتوا الناس الكبار تبقى اخر اجيال في الدنيا زي بتاع الناس بتاع World War II. كان تبقى اخر اجيال، مفترض كلكم تلموا كعجايز تقعدوا تحت وتناقشوا سبب شنو قاعد نخلي نما نكون ما يونايتد، لانه يلا ده جايين ورانا. خلي وساخه اللي كنا عملناه ده يجيب هناك. let's نفتح باب هنا لوحده بتام. كان في حاجه غلط let's debate it in the right way. let's not doubt our unity because لانه واحد منكم ما متفق مع تاني عجوز تاني خلاص كل عجائز بقى كله بقى ناس يقولوا احنا كلنا ما ناس امبارح ده، ناس اللي كانوا في ايام الستينات سبعينات او في خمسينات. عندنا في ناس قاعدين يموتوا بالتاريخ. they live the history. they don't even write a book. they died and disappeared from the world. وده يالتا Equatorians كانوا men ولا women. why we are letting them to die؟ مفترض ان نقدر نعمل مجهودنا. احنا كان انت في عمر ياتو، كان انت في 40 50 60 70 make sure جمع ناس كله قول لها الحكايه جمعها، نبدا باسس حالنا. it doesn't matter انت ما متعلم. والله شفت الزول ما متعلم بيقدر يقود ناس. ما ربنا ظهروا في كلام داود. داود كان راعي. هل داود ده كان جنة زول عنده ديجري؟ داود ده ربنا شاله من مكان. حتى الشاول ده قبل ما داود يكون ملك، شاول ده كان منه مش كمان كان جنة راعي. he don't even have anything. لكن ربنا قدام الحكمة بتاعهم وقدام الفرص بتاعهم عشان يقدروا. وهم كان عندهم ناس بيسمعوهم، هم بيسمعوا ناس الكبار ده. لكن شاول فشل عشان يسمع قادة بتاعهم الهناية ده في ناس المستشارين. طبعا الأنبياء والكهنة. حتى اليوم احنا الأنبياء والكهنة في العصر القديم اليوم بيقولوا مستشارين، مستشارين سياسيين، مفكرين، مبدعين. ما كل زول لازم يكون قائد، وما كل زول لازم يكون مستشار. في كل زول عنده مكانه بتاعه معروف. اهم شيء احنا نجيف بقلب نظيف فوق مستقبل بتاع الناس الجايين. انا ما عاوز اموت في الدنيا ده انا ما عملت حاجه. I want to die standing up doing the right thing عشان الشعب ده يمشي قدام. I don't care if they remember me. في ناس بس خليه اهم شيء legacy بتاعك بكون لما انت تشوف ناس قاعدين يعيشوا مرتاحين. لكن it's bad for you to be legacy بتاعك تكون تزول اللي كان قاعد تحرد في تدمير أهلك. like ناس وانيقا اليوم يوم اللي هم قاعدين يموتوا ده it will be a shame to all his family and his ancestors لأنه هو ما احترم أخوانه الأحياء ولا قدر يعمل حاجة كويس. the same thing like Lomoro, the same thing like all these cowards اللي Equatorian cowards اللي قاعد مع SPLM because they know these people did wrong to us. أنا بفتخر بأخواننا اللي طلعوا من الحركة الشعبية، اللي طلعوا من آيو وهم قالوا آيو SPLM ده كان خطأ كبير دخلنا فوقه. I give them that respect because هم عرفوا أخطاء. ما في زول ما بيغلط في الدنيا ده. we all make mistakes. لكن أهم شيء إحنا نؤمن إحنا قاعدين نعمل حاجة دي يكون عندنا فوقه conviction. ضميرنا لازم يحسسنا كأننا ماشيين في غلط. لا يس عقولنا بيشتغل، إحنا بنفكر، ما معناته خلاص ضميرك قاعد بيمشي. لأنه كان ضميرك ماشي معناته مشاعرك ماشي، معناته عقلك ما ماشي. لكن لازم كله يشتغل سوا عشان تكون أنت إنسان. That's how they will define you as a human being. إحنا ما machine. Machine only work by calculating things to get the answer. But human being, they calculate, they think, they feel, I mean all that stuff, and then they come up with their own individual characters in life. لكن machine is not individual. Machine is just a character that has been built for the same purpose. So أنا نقول شنو ما ده نكتر. أنا بشكر الناس اللي join us. I wasn't expecting to be 2 hours unfortunately. لكن يا أخذنا 2 hours. طبعا القضية ده كبير بيألم يعني it's hurting. And that's why sometimes we don't know how to even express it. لأن قضايا ده كتير. لكن قلنا بنحاول اللي علينا. We put this word South Sudan independent. What went wrong? Because كل الجنوبيين كانوا مرتاحين believing إننا هنكون خلاص عندنا مكانة. إكتوريا حتى ما حسوا بالفكرة إنه هم أقلية أو هم مكروهين أو هم مرفوضين أراضيهم هيشيلوا. في ناس كانوا مبسوطين، في ناس جبكوا لما جا شافوا المصايب ده. لكن ما نبكي. خلي بكى بتاعنا يكون هو بأكشن by joining and standing for Equatorial right. Right now there is nothing will save Equatorial إلا كان Equatorial وقف لحقهم. زي أنا قلت قبلك في قصة اللبنانيين، لو مسيحيين ده كان ما شدوا حالهم عشان يقفوا لأجل حقهم وأراضيهم وهنا ده المذهب بتاعهم يعني الديانة بتاعهم أو their religious belief هم كانوا ينقرضوا. الدروز كان بهناك. دروز ذاته أصغر أقلية الديانة اللي هناك موجودة في لبنان، وبيجي فوق الشيعة والسنة وفلسطينيين زيادة عدد فوقه. لكن these people have to fight for themselves. everybody حتى السني قاعد يشاكل لنا حقه، الشيعي قاعد يشاكل لحقه، الدروزي قاعد يشاكل لحقه، الفلسطيني قاعد يشاكل لحقه. في النهاية هم قعدوا في ترابيزة خلوا، لكنهم خطوا فلسطين في زاوية لأن فلسطين هم ما أصحاب الأرض. هم قالوا ترجعوا لأراضيكم تجيتوا مني. إحنا هنا أبناء لبنان. ده بوري الناس مبدأ. أنت كان ما قد تاخد مبدأ في القضية بتاعك. مبدأ بتاعك أنا جنة استوائية، أنا قاعد نحارب من أجل استوائية، معناته تزول فاشل. ما تقول لي أنت قاعد تمشي، ما تقول لي جنوب السودان. أنا am telling this إنه في ناس ما بيجيبهم. أنت كان قاعد تتكلم جنوب السودان you will never go anywhere. أنا فات إلا بس تيجي تسلم حالك بتوقيع وتيجي تقعد تكون تكس كورين بتاع سلفاكير وجين كانسل كله. لا أنت ما هتعمل أي شيء للإكواتوريان. But if you want to be a real Equatorian man, stand up for your people. وده ما كراهيه لما قاعد نناقض ناس اللي قاعدين يجروا عشان يبارزوا مع ناس اللي ما قاعد يحترم حقوقك. يا اخي اختك اغتصبوها يا اخي. انا متاكد انت اللي قاعد تقول هسه احنا كلنا جنوبيين ده كان اختك يا اغتصبوها مع زول ثاني انت ما بتعرف فيه. لكن لان ده ما اختك ما حسبوه لانه ده اختك من دم بتاع ايكاتوريا but you don't see her like because ما حسبوه. انت مرتاح عندك مكيف عندك كل شيء في تاني هناك قاعد يقول يا رب وينه مسيح ده وينه يساعدني. Some people are crying. I'm just gonna leave it here. I'll give the final words to you guys and then انا بشكركم and yeah there's a lot to say but I don't want to go far but thank
I
you.
think
Go ahead.
I think we're gonna reach into the 3 hours. I think possibly. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, بس
yeah.
أنا قلت final your final word حتى لو بسيط بس sorry أنا took بس أنا قلت I stop here but you guys I'll give it a chance so then we finalize with the last putting that final musical notes and then we'll be done. Thank you.
I think in my final word, I would just say that at the end of the day, it comes down to we really what do we want as Equatorians, you know? And I have Equatorians acting like, you know, there are a few of us that like to confuse people. We like some people don't want us to reach a conclusion. Like if we're trying to like bring people together in unity or we're saying talking about it separation Equatoria, some people like they get angry, they don't want that. And reasons why they don't want that because they're securing for themselves. They've been promised probably if they stick with the unity, they probably get I don't know. They're believing that they will get a job there or something like that, or because I don't see the reason why. Like we don't have anything in common with these people really. You don't have anything totally in common, and these people has offered us nothing but chaos. The 15 years that we've been with them, nothing but chaos. So what hope do you have in these people? What land that you're saying that we're giving up our lands for these people? These people have their places, their lands where they're living in, and we have our own as Equatoria. So it's us which were a nation. Why do we give up our nation into South Sudan? You cannot govern a grown person that doesn't want to be governed. You cannot even correct Zola mother correction. Zol tabia to zare dare yogurt zare khali yogurt zare. تقدر وبعدين رجعنا ورا قال we stay in unity معناته ده one day or the other the same thing will erupt again because your mother we separated from these people and we come back the same things happen يعني الناس ده طبيعة بتاعهم ما بيغيروا بتاعنا. So I'll just leave it here and say that these
True.
people who are really confusing Equatorians just stop it please. Stop it. Just look around you what is happening to us. Stop running around like chooks without head. You know, like, oh, عشان بنعمل شنو كيف يعني boots on the ground ما boots on the ground ناس talk on this platform that platform. No, you don't need all these things. All we need to do is just yes, this is what we are facing, this is what is happening to us. What are we doing now? Yeah, we're gonna decide to go with this plan A. Let's go with plan A. This is all we need, simple as that. And I'm just leaving it here. Thank you.
Thank you, Adas.
Thank you, Adasa and CJ.
Yeah, actually, no, I'm so thankful, thanks be to God. And as days goes, guys, we're living in this world. As you can see, with all this pandemic and all that, still you have people who have no heart, who will still come after you and kill, rape, and do all that kind of bad stuff to the family. It has never been, separations has never been our issue, or it's never been something that we have created. It is something that has been imposed on us. Remember that very well. It is something that has been imposed on us. When somebody is playing double agents, what do you expect out of that? Nothing. Somebody could come, throw you out of your land, would not allow you even, to go and farm, get food for your children, put it on the tables. You don't need him. You don't need his government. You don't need anything at all. They don't need. What they need is only security. Yet those people have been there for centuries. Today you began to play that games. I know There is a big mountain behind those guys. We know very well. There is a big force behind them. But we as Equatorians, if we were to stand, we will get our lands. We will get our lands. Our main point is that, somebody is in your house. You need to get him out of your house. And then afterward, you can talk about unity, if it is about unity that you're dreaming about. But what kind of unity? We have tried all these things. Should it be unity? We tried. Federal, as you can see, what is going on today is what is called Dinka federal system. This is what it is. Where they can throw you out, they can kill you, they can bring you in and use you. And when you're useless, they throw you out. Now, for those Equatorians, particularly those people of Mundari, well, I've just heard today that there was a ship who was being engaged and talk with so-called, those Dinka, cowboys or whatsoever, the cattle riders and all that. Well, they talk, and then it looks like, something like a setup. All of a sudden, according to the ship, we could hear that they says, they came and ambushed him. Then claiming that there is Mundari who ambushed him. So according to him, he says this is Mundari. What will that tell us? Is that Mundari? Is that the level that Dinka have reached to use Mundari against the Fejulu people? To go there and start hunting them? Imagine, there's a number of children in the bush today, as we're talking, just being driven out. It is sad, Victoria. It is sad. That is not the kind of people. Is that what so-called unity? No. Imagine. They will bring some other people here. Some Dinka will come and talk to them. And then the next day you're out of your land. Imagine that guy is a sheep. He has those guys with him. He says he almost lost his life. It is dangerous, guys. Victoria, please wake up. Wake up and let us stand for this point. When we say separations, that is a big term down there. We need our lands. That is what it is. We need peace and security. It is you and I who will establish this security. As says Attica, we're not better than you guys when we're talking. Just talk the truth, tell the truth. And those who have ears will hear it. They may come to your rescue. You never know. Imagine, nobody would have imagined that, our country will be independent. It happens. So it is the same thing that is now occurring. That we're going to live again. So let us not give up, guys. Let's come together. Join us. Let us not make some enmity against us, because all that is in human mind is the jealousy and temptations. It's the jealousy and temptations that destroy people, that destroys family. Let us stand in Equatoria. The land is ours. Once we get our house, we will look forward. And what was saying to those people in Upper Nile and West and Bahr al-Ghazal, particularly the Western Bahr al-Ghazal, those are our people. We're not going to give up our people. But once we get our land, that will be another task. The land is ours. So let us not allow any double agents to come and play that role. Those people's hands are in Khartoum and at the same time in Equatoria. As you can see, those people, what they are doing. So, Equatoria, I don't have to go far, but I would say thank you for listening. Please share this video, share it with anyone of you, this show, and discuss about it, because we are just talking about what went wrong by the time when this country become independent. That's all of it's our subject matter. It is not about history. We just try to analyze what had happened at that very time, which is, of course, it's not that long. It's just only 15 years. It is not that long. But we have to tell people, we have to speak it out. So if you have any information that would help us, that can be of help to us, if you have any kind of history, or you have something in your minds, or you might have attended that kind of events, please come up. We expect you to come up next time when we come to the second episode of this show. So till then, God bless you guys. And should we hurt anyone, please forgive us for that. For at the end of the day, the truth has to come up, so that, of course, the truth, as it says, it will set us free. So the truth is the way out for Equatoria as well, if we really need that. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, thank you, CJ. Thank you, Hadassah, and all those who are watching us. Again, yeah, we just want to say no hard feelings. We have to say what we need to say to our people to understand what's going on. If you feel offended, well, my apology for you misunderstanding me, because I did not intend to offend you. We did not intend to offend you in general. What we're talking here is about our issues, our case, our people, our land, our women, our sisters, or our brothers, and the children who's younger than us, who are going to be the ones who's going to inherit the land after us. So what we are planning here, we are asking every Equatorian to dig deep into their conscience. Is Equatoria important to you, or is South Sudan important to you? Because if Equatoria important to you, then you need to wake up and do what is right. Like in Junub Sudan, they're important to you, then good luck for South Sudan. Because like CJ said, we tried. And I tried no got Junubin. Kokoraja, Junubin Equatoria nisa mawduta Kokoraja yana tani. Hasa اليوم the spirit of Kokora قد يسهر. ناس كتير قاعدين سفر. ناس عاوينا قاعدين كوري. مخيمات مليان في برا. يا ريت لو في جوا جنوب السودان. مخيمات القاعد في حدود. Equatorian unknown numbers are outside their land. Inside their land, they are displaced under the trees. Yata shaya bigani fatunu gabayla shani fight each other. We are Equatorians. Equatoria masa mo ladu inclave de sakit. Ladu kingdom daka masa wo sakit. Because these people were one. Mama udu bitano ladu basi how can lead up tamo la kida. They just gave them that name for a reason. That's why I say people need to research the history carefully before they come up in conclusion and judgment. Ihna makuna marufin east, west, or central. We were non-Equatorian, and I always believe in Equatoria to be greater Equatoria. Shankida, my brothers and sisters, stand as Equatorian instead of South Sudan. ما بزول بيجري في بيت الجيران قال مشت في بيت الجيران نار في راستا بيت الجيران وبيته هنا قد يحرق يالو جوا هناك. That don't make sense. كان ياتو أقل اللي أنا ما أعرف في الدنيا ده. إنتوا قاعد تجروا تقول أراك جنوب السودان نفايت وياو بيتك هنا كان يشيلوا ناسك هنا قاعد يكورك unprotected. أفسو كده حميم. وينو ميليشيات بتاعنا تا إيكواتوريا اللي قاعدين يقولوا قاعدين fight ده. They're disappointing us, but أنا ما بن give up. We will do whatever we can, even to support those guys that are getting fight in the ground. But make sure, my brothers and sisters, protect your sisters, protect your brothers. يا أخي جوبا ده قريب يا أخي شيلوا في يوم واحد. أنا قاعد نستغرب. Why are you guys sitting there? شفت أنا لو جعان ذاته ما عندي أكل أسبوع كامل. I will not die in the bush. I better die in the capital city. ده بيت أهلي. أنا باخد. شفت أنا بداية هناك بهنجة تاني. At least أنا بلقى لي food. في حتى قصة زي في البايبل. Need to look at it out. Gideon or Jadaun. Gideon kind did the same thing. They were thirsty. The people had to go miles and then they found water. Everybody dropped themselves like animals. But they before they killed like I don't know how many thousand of Palestinians. So today we are fighting Palestinians, my brothers and sisters. وبعدين ماسكين جوبا احتلوا شارين بناتنا رخيص استفزاز. يلا الناس اللي بيقولوا قال دينكا is nothing. احنا مشكلتنا ما دينكا. مشكلتنا الطريقة بتاعهم يعملوا control on us. The abuse, the insult. Those people are not respecting us, my brothers. عشان كده الراجل قال انت بتfight for your dignity, for your honor. And your honor is your woman and child and your brothers and sisters. That's whose your dignity and honor is. So let them in dignity there yet. You need to look it up. عشان بكره ما يضحكوا عليك قال ما شتمونا كان قال إيكواتوري جبانين. So I don't want to go far. Maybe we'll talk later next time. God bless you. And anyway, Charles Tahili, he's funny. He's talking nonsense. Hey, yeah, Charles, أرجع في كنيسة بتاعك على كلا. أنت قلت تبقى أبونا. احترم حالك. Anyway, أنت كان زولت ربنا سيكون زولت God. ما تيجي to play هنا IO general and minister. That doesn't make sense. It's a joke. Anyway, good luck. ربنا يكون معكم. I'll talk to you later because this guy is funny sometimes. Yeah, but just God bless you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 yeah. Banana kala. Na 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 na. Anina wahi. Anina sawa. Oh yeah. Anina iko tori. Na sawa. Anina iko tori. Beled wahid. Anina iko tori. Anehna, nina iko tori. Oh yeah, kanita miniambio, kanita mintori, weleta minjuba, yeah. Anena iko tori. Keresia sama gesi manena, yeah. We strong, we stand together, yeah. Kanihna gulu wahi, iko tori ya birapa. Yabirwa pijama, asan belet na biraba. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Oh yeah. Give us ipanabule. Oh no, oh yeah. Anina iko tori. Nasawa, anina iko tori. Belet wahid, anina iko tori. Anehna, nina iko tori. Oh yeah, kanita zande, kanita mai, au kukuye, anina iko tori. Kelene na hivo nefusina, kebili ya kede maferiganina. Salam wa sahafa, behaja derino, hasan belet na biraba, arif mapisaido. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Oh yeah. Give us ipanabule. Oh no, oh yeah. Anina iko tori. Nasawa, anina iko tori. Beled wahid, anina iko tori. Anehna, nina iko tori.
Nina kulu sawa jama. So my Fanan Ngala, I love my people and I'm the voice.
Acholi ya buga ya baka, Ndinga balanda mare, Kakuwa kiliko kuku, Lambo lugoya, Azangu kukosa mundo, Nyambara morobe made, Mundare, Nyambara, Otumo pare makotudo, Lubara buga ya lope,
Lobosa, Mondo, Anina kulu nasi sawa. Mavi hata bigesi manena, siasa mabigesi manena, anina wahi.
All right, thank you guys and Mahim. I'll leave you guys till the next time. God bless. Bye.